7 action, live and exclusive, right around Australia on Fox Footy. Thanks for having us at your place. Looking forward to a ripping game. French and Noble. French went early. Noble got the tap. Tuck. Mentioned him in the pre-game. Prendergast starting in the middle. He's a tough matchup, Ian Prendergast. He's a mobile, tall, athletic midfielder who can play off a wing, can run the lines.
And also Spawn's got the job on Joel Bowden as a defensive half-forward flanker.
French got the tap. Camporelli entered the game on an injury cloud. You can see that right knee strapped up. A scrap in there early, and the umpire will come in and bounce one more time.
And as we said, Bannister's got Nathan Brown, and it looks like Teague has got Stafford. Gee, a lot of height difference there.
There's always going to be one, wasn't there? Musical chairs in the Richmond forward line. One tall, who's going to have a bigger, smaller opponent rather. And Simmons pumps it inside 50 for the first time. Richardson off hands to Scotland. He's wrapped up by Pettifer. There's a free kick. It's going to Carlton and Brett Thornton for holding in that marking contest. Scotland and Pettifer sort themselves out, and the ball comes back to Thornton. Meant to be 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The umpire spotted it. Spawn has got Waite working hard up towards the southern stand wing, and he honours that effort. Jared Waite will kick it long towards centre-half forward. 2 direct sides this afternoon. Kudafiti's the target. Off his hands. The exciting Tamlin tries to burst through. Not getting through there. Holding the ball. Oh, good gang tackle. Camporelli went in hard. Stevens hit him as well. And the Blues with a chance from 65 metres out. Camporelli looks up. He's got Kudafiti's and Whitnell deep. Whitnell goes towards the pocket. Kick in that direction. Cooter at the back, the danger. Spills to the back of the contest. Callaway now to Gasper. Links up with Noble. Back to Gasper. And the Tigers work it out of half back. Towards the wing. On the half volley to Simmons. And Tony Amal's right on DeLuca. Started in the back half. And he's got the job.
Today, go ahead with it.
Mark Chaffey's got the job picking up Matthew Lappin. Chaffey playing game number 150 today. Crunch to the ground that time. Won a free kick, and still it's a ball up. 35 metres out from Carlton's goal. Matthew Richardson sitting on 599 goals. Well, Eddie Betts, live wire Eddie, a couple of goals last week as well. He's been a big find. He can be a very, very dangerous player. Straight off the bench, couldn't take it. Hall trying to find Newman. Wrapped up in the tackle, couldn't take it. Now Newman with quick hands, finds Cracker, rockets the ball wide to Coughlin. As the Richmond fans roar on, Deledio is off. The number 1 draft pick runs through the centre ground, hammers the ball down, out in front that time with Stafford.
He's gone too far.
Great pressure from Andrew Walker.
Deledio, great to see though. There's been 2 things today and it's on just in front of the goal square, but Deledio ran too far with the ball. Cherry Walsh would be wrapped with that, and also Tamlin when he got clobbered on the wing holding the ball. At least they ran hard with it.
Yeah, it's just a few steps too far. Carlton's tackling's been very, very strong. And again, it's held up on the half-forward flank.
Well, the Blues are the number 2 tackling side in the competition. Richmond, number 1 for clangers by foot, KB. So if the Blues can exert that physical pressure, they can force Richmond in an error.
Tony and I never ever had a clanger. We didn't have clangers nowadays, Tony.
You didn't get tackled, KB. French got the tap. Wait. Hall. Here's Delidio. Tries to break through. Prendergast got him. Turnover comes.
Another throw. Another free kick against Delidio. Still trying to invent.
Good physical pressure from the Blues. A step up in tempo this afternoon. Houlihan went to Lappin. Just floated over his head. And Chaffee judged it beautifully. Dishes off to Tuck. Stafford works wide towards the wing. Won't quite get there. Wait. Now Delidio. To centre-half forward, Richardson couldn't quite haul it in at ground level. Stevens could have tackled, he went the bump. Worked out okay, but now they're under pressure, the Blues. Thornton went in hard on Delidio. Simpson, Stevens. Awkward kick out wide towards Prendergast. Cooter with a one-handed pickup. Handball inboard, here's Stevens. Wants to give it off. Breaks a tackle. Goes towards 50. Whitnell on the half volley. Needed clean hands, now he's under pressure. Noble, Gasper. And now Tippendale for the Tigers. To Chaffee. Cross goal. Newman. He's got a man in space. It's Pettifer. He's got a Paddock on centre wing. Can go for a bounce. Scotland closing. Pettifer's had a couple. He'll run to 55. Pettifer will go towards the top of the square. Tall timber there for the Tigers. Stafford's got it. 10 metres out directly in front. Good switch of play. The Blues have been susceptible to the switch this year, Tony. We've seen sides use it against them regularly, and that whole half of the ground just opened up.
Well, it did, and it was Kane Pettifer who had a great game last week. Scotland started on half-back flank on Pettifer. Just got caught up to the play. They switched it, and we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see Stafford, the ball kicked on top of his head, playing on David Teague.
First blood to the Tigers. Richmond on the board. We've played 7 minutes in the opening term as we head down to Glen Manton.
A good matchup for David Teague, but if he's to take on Greg Stafford in that situation, he really needs to come from behind, use his athleticism, use his spring, and bring the ball to ground.
I think you're right, Glenn. You can't go body on body when you're probably giving away, I would think, 5 or 6 inches and maybe 10 kilos in weight. Yeah, get a run up and try and belt it, but good switch by Richmond. Carlton have had a fair bit of the ball in the first 5 minutes of this game, but you see they're trying to pinpoint passes into their forward line.
I always think it's a good sign, Tony, when players like to run with the ball like Delidio and Kane Pettifer. Breaks up the lines. Here's a chance. French in the ruck. Kouterfidis is fantastic at the centre bounces. Camblin beaten this time. He's got a lot of pace. Drags Wiggins down. Prendergast. Careless tackle. So the ball will come back. And the free kick will go to the Tigers. Prendergast. Straight in the back of Tuck. It's been a real success story. Shane Tuck. Twice a rookie list player with the Hawks. Also played with West Adelaide. Got his chance with the Tigers. And Terry Wallace decided to give him a big chance.
Satana helping on the ground, KB. Straight into the action at the 8-minute mark. He's gone to full forward, and Richmond now turning around looking for a matchup.
Well, he's kicked 4 and 2 goals playing in the reserves. O'Halpin. It's a big difference, of course. Big change of pace coming up to AFL ranks. Here's a chance for Whitnell. Drives the ball in. Chipping in front that time was Coughlin. Couldn't take the mark. And again, Carlton will tie it up on 50.
Just struggling to get someone free in their forward 50, aren't they? With Whitnell up the ground now at centre-half forward.
There he is, the young man playing his first game.
Prendergast is tagging Shane Tuck.
Chance now for Whitnell. Needs a lucky bounce. Over the line for a boundary throw-in. So a chance for the Blues. Boundary throw-in, hard up against the boundary post. Point post, I should say.
Let's see what happens here. Whitnell normally does the ruck work, and he will do it again, I would think. Gee, you'd think Prendergast might want to come over the top, or Whitnell will. No, it's Prendergast in there.
O'Halpin, with his first kick, just got smothered off the boot. Wouldn't that have been a story to tell? Callaway taking off the ball that time by Betts. Puts it over on the full. That would have been a story, Tony, if O'Halpin had kicked a goal with his first kick in AFL football.
It's happened a lot, hasn't it?
It has, but not too many hurling stars from Ireland have done it. Bowden, best and fairest winner for the Tigers last year. Just directing traffic. And does it well. Callaway. Ambles away from half back. Short. Finds Sibbons, who likes to lead up the ground to centre half forward. Richardson. hero of the Tigers, has booted 599 goals. This for his 600th in AFL football. To become only the 4th Richmond player to achieve that target. Richardson will stand right on 50, unloads. It's a big bomb. It's going, it's going. That's 600 goals for Richardson.
Oh, what a great effort. And I tell you what, KB, Kane Pettifer nearly did the wrong thing by Matty Richardson, because when he marked the ball, he got back and he was going to short pass it. And I know that there's a team rule now. If Matty Richardson marks it within 50, he's told to have a shot on goal. And I think it's the best thing for him. You can see he's marked that right on 50.
He was tempted, wasn't he?
He was tempted to go to Pettifer, but that's when he makes mistakes. So Terry Wallace is trying to streamline his thinking. And I think a lot of his teammates have been a problem with Matty Richardson over the years.
Shows how players wrestle with their instincts. At that stage, his first instinct was to play on, and then it went through his head. No, I'm not allowed, so I'll go back and kick it. So the Tigers with a good start. We've played 11 minutes in the opening term, and they lead by 12 points. Coughlin away from the stoppage towards half forward. Simmons leads DeLuca to the football. DeLuca is a defender. Wouldn't make Carlton fans that comfortable, I wouldn't think. Inside 50. Still alive for the Tigers. Numbers around it. Pettifer. Koutafidis wraps him up, holds it in underneath. We'll have a bounce 52 metres out from the Richmond goal.
Could be signs to come, Tony. The 2 goals for the Tigers, Stafford and Richardson. Tall timber up forward.
French, DeLuca. Ineffective tap taken by Coughlin. Inside 50. Here's Richo again. Well, we talk about direct movement. Richmond have a game plan that sees them switch play in the back half. Then they get it towards the centre of the ground. A long kick generally to centre half forward, and then another long kick in. And you can see why. When you've got that tall timber there, get it in quick.
Well, no Luke Livingston, and he's a player who would have played playing at full back, so it would have helped out. T could go to the next forward. She hasn't normally kicked these well, Richo, but hopefully he's on song.
Free second. Sneaks it in. Tigers have got a flyer at the G. Richo's got 2, Stafford's got 1, and Dennis has got headaches. Let's head down to Glen Mountain.
Interesting, Jason, to see both DeLuca and French fighting for the ball in that throw-up that was at roundabout centre half forward. You'd think one of them might get back into the hole to help out their defence.
Good point, Glenn. There's a lot of open space when the ball came out of that stoppage, Tony. Plenty of space to lead into.
And Prendergast now starting off the back of the square because Koutafidis has come from half forward. He will go into the centre bounce, and that's where he should be. He's one of the best clearance players in the competition. But Prendergast is standing on the back of the square. He should be right in front of Matty Richardson and behind the players on the square as it is now. Just get right in that gap.
Still got to play in front of even someone like Matthew Richardson. Here's Koutafidis. He is great at winning the ball from centre clearances. This time, the juggler has been taken by Ray Hall. You've got to play in front because all those little quick kicks that come into the forward line, Richardson is a very, very quick player, and he'll mark on his chest. If he's got to take a screamer over the top of you, well, so be it. How many great marks can you take in one game? Here's a chance to Lidio. Between the back pocket and half back, scrubby old kick. Finds Hall, keeps the ball alive. Placed it out in front. He was looking for Bowden. Tuck somehow weaves his way out of trouble. Bowden with clean hands finds Tivendale. Wobbles the ball forward. Here's Richardson. He wants the free kick and he's got it.
They have to go with Brent Thornton. He has had the wood over Matty Richardson, but 2 early goals, and that time was just body strength.
Richardson was looking for 50 metres then, but he was back 25 metres.
If you go back far enough, it makes it pretty tough to throw it on the full.
Well, it's the same distance as what he kicked that first goal, but on a worse angle, of course.
Well, the roar behind the goals will tell the story. It's packed with Richmond fans. And Richardson already with 2 goals. He's already kicked his 600th goal in AFL football. He'll stand right on 50. And it's way, way off target. And through for a minor score.
Well, look, I thought Carlton started the game very well, but you can just see already the way that this is going is that their centre-half forward area is a major issue. They just have to get someone through there who can mark the ball. Waite's there. They've got Lappin. They've got Eddie Betts. Gee, not a lot of height there.
Well, they've got to get the ball down there for starts, Tony. Here's a chance for Stevens. That was a poor effort. Chance for Richardson. Shovels the ball out. Coughlin stands and delivers, goes to the pocket. He's looking for Stafford. He's already kicked a goal. This time, he misses an easy snap. through behind.
Gee, that was a let-off for
Gnashing
Carlton.
the teeth.
Possessions in this game 43-21 in favour of Richmond. Uncontested possessions 28-9 in favour of the Tigers. They are finding it and finding it in wide open space at the moment. The Blues need just to build some confidence. They need to start winning some clearances, get the ball away from the stoppages and get some meaningful inside 50s. At the moment they're struggling to get it in their front half of the ground. Pettifer, Coughlin, chance for the Tigers again. The Blues under siege down back at the moment. Camporelli dives in on top of it. Umpire will bounce. The Tigers for the last 6 inside 50s, and the danger, Tony, is that when they're going in, every time they look like scoring.
And all their good midfielders are getting the ball. Coughlin with 5 early possessions. Shane Tuck with Prendergast playing on him with 4.
Here's Koutafidis again, arguably the most important player in the game, alongside Richardson, you'd suggest. Coughlin inside 50, across the body, Tambling, off his hands. Houlihan, not the required distance. Camporelli's going to get run down. Thought about the give. Koutafidis released the hands. Camporelli gave it up to Coughlin. Good tackle from Wiggins. And the Blues get out of trouble. Longmuir to Scotland. A 2-on-1. Waite couldn't get in the contest. Callaway pushes it forward again for the Tigers. And this man, Pettifer's dangerous. He's slipping his man on a regular basis in the forward half for the Tigers. Richardson, top of the square, leads hard. That's ignored. Now there's no one in the square. Will kick it high and long. Might go the distance. It's almost there. It's home. The Tigers are rocking the MCG in this opening term. They've been sluggish starters in the last couple of weeks, but they have flown out of the blocks this afternoon. Pettifer kicks a goal. The Tigers have 5. Carlton have not scored. 5-2-32 to zip.
Well set up by Andy Callaway. Not renowned as the greatest kick, but he came off halfback and just hit Pettifer on the 50-metre arc. I don't know whether he was just trying to lob it up to Stafford again, who was one out with T, but just had to carry on it, and he's turned into a very good player. Looked like he was going to lead the club before Terry Wallace came and said, I'm going to give you a chance, and he hasn't let him down.
Tigers by 26 points. The Blues yet to score. 12th goal for the season for Kane Pettifer, enjoying a great run. Johnson to Scotland, to Camporelli. They need some midfield guns to step up. Here's a chance looking for Longmuir. Bowden did it well. Read the ball off the boot. Here's a chance for Brown. Weaving a little bit of magic across half-back. It's a poor kick. Should be trapped. Waite keeps it in. Coming off a big game last week with 5 goals. Chance now is Bannister. Wobbles the kick forward. It was an absolute shocker. And the Blues forwards are under a lot of pressure. Here's a chance for Cracker. Just sidesteps around. Scotland gives it across. This time to Bowden, who measures the kick. Thornton this time playing in front of Richardson, comes away. Backs his chances. Charges away from half-back. Pops the ball up, looking for Stevens. Closing quickly. That time was Newman. Did it well. Gets plenty of support. And the Tigers can set it up. Noble and Coughlin combined. Johnson as well, thumped away right on the goal line. Here's a chance for DeLuca. Got the kind bounce that he wanted. A couple of players down as Camporelli comes away for Blues. Finds Walker. The run now comes from Teague. Comes down from halfback. The Blues desperate for a score. High ball, big pack of players. Standing his ground is Callaway. Non-stop action by the Tigers. Finds Newman across halfback. This is great play. And finds Noble. He's got an important role, hasn't he, Tony, in the ruck, because the 2 big guns can be down forward. Bowden, designated kicker, chance over the top. This time Richardson thumped away that time by Camporelli in great defensive play. Puts it over the line for behind.
Well, it gives you a lot of confidence, doesn't it? When you try to pinpoint someone, there's no one on, and you think, well, my outlet is to just drop it on the top of the square. The other thing good about Noble is they've got Simmons and also Stafford, who can put a lot of pressure on the opposition ruckman by having their time.
Bannister receives the kick in. They're just devoid of options at the moment, Carlton. Down on confidence, need to string together some meaningful chains of possession. Maybe this time, Scotland inside 50. Longmuir goes back to credit contest. Great juggling grab. It was a 2-on-1 and Gasper was in trouble if it hit the deck. He did very well. Callaway peels off. Now Hall will get run down by Waite, but got boot to ball towards half forward. Again, they come charging out. This time it's Stafford. They can lead with confidence, knowing their men up the ground are winning the contest. Here's Brown, unsighted at the moment. Needs half a chance. From 45, makes it count. That's the thing about Nathan Brown. He can be relatively quiet you when you're not looking?
Well, look, you've got to say, when Greg Stafford is picking the ball up, coming out at full forward like a rover, gets on his left foot, a bit cheeky, really, because I don't think as a big bloke you don't want to do it. But Nathan Brown, the pickup, just turned around. He wasn't going to pass that. He knew where he was on the ground. The goals don't move, and he's kicked them before like that. So just fantastic finish.
That's the confidence of being able to peel off your men up the ground, isn't it? They're winning the one-on-ones at the moment. They're bringing it forward, uninhibited from the Blues. There's no pressure coming off half-back.
The midfield, there's a lack of pressure. They've also got problems in the centre bounces because they've just brought Stevens off. You can see him running in the picture now. They're a bit bewildered at the moment. They don't know what's going on, the Blues.
Brown's kicked 20 goals for the season. Kane Johnson started on the bench for the Tigers. Chance for Chaffey. Milestone game, 150 today. The Tigers are hot to trot. The Blues just can't seem to match it. The aggression, the rebound play of the Tigers. Here's a chance for Richardson just with his strength and bulk. Johnson did well, feigned the hand pass, measures the kick, drills it in and finds Nathan Brown. Terrific rebound football by the Tigers, Tony. Every time they take a mark, they want to play on straight away. They don't want to go back. They don't want to waste time. They've got players running forward, plenty of open space.
Well, look, there's been a lot of criticism about the way the game's played, and this is fairly well perfect, isn't it? Their half-back line's dominating. They switch it, then they go to the centre corridor. They know they've got their strengths in their KB. Nathan Brown will be the icing on the cake today, but I think their three tall players will kick multiple goals.
Well, he stands right on 48 metres. Nathan Brown crossed the face of goal. Here's a chance for Tambling. It's the post.
Their lack of height also means that it's hard to spoil. Like, you can't get away. If you're body on body, you can't get your hands away to come over the top and belt the ball. So that means they do fall down. So Cracker and Tambling, they might get their spoils also.
Well, for a long time, I think a lot of us have believed that Tigers have had the setup to play a long kicking game, the tall players in between. Here's another turnover by Carlton. Time for think music. Stafford can take his time, rockets the ball out. Kane Johnson runs into the open goal and bangs it through. The Blues are a rabble at the MCG.
I just want to preempt one thing. If our cameramen can get on the quarter-time huddle of the Carlton side, we might see one of Dennis Pagan's best.
You'll probably hear it as well.
Exactly, from here. Where were we? On the third floor of the new stand. But, look,
that's just embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. That's too easy. That's like training drill stuff, isn't it? But, you know, look, again, they're not just winning because of their height in the forward line. Everywhere around the midfield, they are getting a shellacking. Coughlin's had 9 possessions. Callaway is a half-back flanker, nearly a loose man, has had 6. Newman's done his job. Bowden's getting plenty of it. They're just getting too much ball. They have to just stem the tide, the Blues.
80 possessions to 45, and that's a mother of a hiding in anyone's language on Mother's Day weekend. Coughlin again out of the middle. No pressure at all. Tuck, long to the square. Going back with numbers. Carlton 2-on-1. Doesn't matter. Brown's kicked another. This is a shellacking. Brown's got 2. Richardson's got 2. Stafford, Pettifer and Johnson. The Blues haven't scored. 7-4-46. Carlton yet to score. The Blues, what happens in these situations, Tony? It becomes infectious, but you go into your shell as an individual, don't you? And you don't, and we've seen that with Carlton. Even when they win position in the back half, dinky little kicks. They're not prepared to take a risk. They're not prepared to kick long to a contest.
It was a push out, wasn't it?
It was a push out.
It was a push out. It should have been a free kick.
The new rule, but the umpire was on the blind side.
It was definitely a free kick.
But the new rule, it should have been a free kick. Hey, one thing about Carlton, though, you normally play Pagan's paddock. He hasn't moved his forward line up into the defence yet, which he might have done 5 minutes ago.
French got it down to Stevens. Centre clearance for the Blues. Inside 50. Whitnell flew high. Never a chance to mark. This is where the Blues forwards need to put some pressure on. The ball's just rebounded out of their own forward 50 far too easily. And that's allowed players such as Pettifer up the ground to peel off their men with confidence.
Well, the problem with the height in Richmond side, Carlton are worried about getting numbers back, but they're losing the fall of the ball in their forward line. So it's just double jeopardy.
Blues desperate for a goal. Need something to hang their hat on as they head to quarter time. Tuck in there again. Houlihan crashed through. Coughlin, good creative hands to Newman. So much time and space for the Richmond forwards to work in because it's just coming in so fast. Not much Thornton can do about that, nor any other backman. Richardson, awful kick. Towards half forward, it might pay off. Teague's there to try and tidy up for the Blues, but they're under enormous pressure. Noble couldn't get an effective handball. Squirts out in the Pettifer direction. Scotland, quick hands. Koudafidi's missed his mark. Here's DeLuca. Can the Blues build? Wiggins has to get rid of it quickly. It was a good kick. Johnson's handball, not so. Scotland. They are down on confidence, the Blues. Goes towards Whitnell. Again, he'll have 2 to beat here. Gasper can use the line or bring it back to a teammate. He chooses the former. The Blues need that proverbial steadier.
Their confidence absolutely shattered at the moment. It's Carlton. You can see him in the midfield then, looking to handball, players not being aware that players needed assistance. Of course, I looked up and there was 2 against 1 against Whitnell. It's a boundary throw in, a good 65 metres round from Carlton's goal. Simmons over the top. Johnson with strength somehow gets it out to Campbell, wrapped up in the tackle, and we've got a ball up.
Well, normally when Dennis Pagan's had goals kicked against him, he's thrown Lance Whitnell forward. At this stage, you can't do it. You just cannot do it. 46 points down, you have to score. You've got to get back in the game. So it's really, he's in 2 minds of which way to go about it, and he's hopefully to kick a goal.
Thump forward this time. Here's a chance for Stevens. Wanted a kind bounce, quick hands out towards Johnson. Great defensive play that time by Hall. Pounced on by young Danny Meyer, headed straight for the boundary line and has survived.
It's a nice luxury to have when you can bring on Wayne Campbell, a man who's won 4 best and fairest at your club, dual All-Australian. You can sit him on the bench until time on in the opening term and then just inject him into your rotation.
Yes. Blues just needing a score. A goal would be nice. Here's a chance for Koutafidis, trying to tickle the ball along just 20 metres out from goal. Houlihan goes to the ground. Camporelli wants a free kick. He's the tackler. Again, the Tigers release the ball. Gaspar, desperate not to even give away behind the Tigers. I think they're priding themselves on the fact they just might keep the Blues scoreless in this first term. Here's a chance. Wait! On the stretch in front of Bowden, has taken it, gets a bit of treatment at the same time. And he'll be shooting from around about 48 metres directly in front.
Well, to say they need this, it's an understatement. But Joel Bowden, gee, made him earn it too. And that's what Tigers are doing today. Every time they are very hard at the ball. They're tackling well. And what's trying to happen here? Ray Hall's trying to go to weight, and then release Bowden as a loose man, which you want to happen because he's a better kick. But, this is an understatement. They need this goal.
Well, he kicked 5 goals last week. He's been at 12 goals for the season. He's seen as one of their brightest stars. Can he convert just to lift the confidence? Jared Waite from directly in front has missed. Just about sums up Carlton's first quarter, Tony.
Just thinking about DeLuca playing on Simmons. Now Noble's gone to back to centre-half forward, but I think maybe they can find someone else to do that job because DeLuca is a marking forward. He might be given something to go through. He's a big man.
Newman pinpoints it to Deledio, who goes long and wide. Oh, Walker over the top of Meyer, gets good support. Scotland stands and delivers. Finds Stevens. A couple of wise heads combined as Stevens pumps the ball deep in, looking for Whitnell from behind that time. Here's a chance. Longmuir can't get his foot to the ball. Great tackle by Bowden. Tigers are desperate in that last line of defence. Betts was hanging on to Newman, couldn't give away the free kick. Eddie Betts tries one off the ground, ricochets back and taken away by Johnson, who hammers the ball out wide. The race is on. DeLuca got the kind bounce he wanted. Gets around Noble, and Houlihan stands and delivers. Finds Waite. That's a shocking kick. Kicked it on the back foot. Rushed the kick. Hits the behind post. Out of bounds on the full.
Well, they just can't buy a goal, the Blues. And Eddie Betts had it snap off the ground, but it hit his own player. Might have gone through for a goal, and hit bounced off his own player.
Richmond finding space at will. This one will come back, but indicative. Chris Newman standing by himself in the back pocket, 35 metres on his own. Koutafidis goes across to shut that option down now. They're doing it with the greatest of ease. Richmond just finding open men. Carlton rattled. Bowden will go short. Good understanding with Campbell then. They're both on the same wavelength. And the former skipper has it. A minute left on the clock in the opening term. Goes down the line. Stevens versus Gaspar. Campbell liked that matchup, and Gaspar did it well. Stevens tries to run down to Deledio. Slips a tackle, gets past a couple more.
Dropping the ball.
Bounced it as he got tackled.
He just had a handful of jump on Nick Stevens. Very good chase from Nick Stevens. He's trying to lift his side. That's his 10th possession.
He's the one winner on the ground for the Blues at the moment. Walker Hands it off. Camporelli. Time for a last rally for the Blues. Whitnell this time gets out in front. And that's what he's needed. They've been able to have 2 men on him every time he's gone at the football. Through the absence of Brendan Favola, he's obviously the spearhead. They've double-teamed him. That time it came in quickly.
Well, what happened, Gasper, remember, had the
dragged up the ground,
and he got the first possession, and then the turnover to Stevens, and Wayne Campbell. Yeah, Wayne Campbell tried to help out, but not a big enough body.
So Lance will kick right on the siren to avoid Carlton's worst ever first quarter against Richmond. They need a goal to do it. No serve. So equals their worst. The 7th time in history they've kicked 2 behinds only in the opening term. And what a quarter of football from the Tigers. Terry Wallace threw down the challenge to his charges during the week. He said the win against Port Adelaide was good, but a win against Carlton today would be great. They'd stumbled against Geelong, they'd stumbled against St Kilda, and whilst we're not suggesting Carlton is in their level of company at the moment, they needed a big win in front of a huge crowd at the MCG to excite their fans and to make a statement. They've certainly come out in the first term and done that. They lead by 44 points.
Well, they have, and the thing about it is that their forward line, you knew that was going to be the problem, and it's come to fruition for the Tigers.
The Tigers simply awesome in the opening term. The Blues with lots of work to do. At the MCG, we do know the Blues are capable of turning it on and off and kicking goals in a hurry. They need to this afternoon and start to make up some ground in this second term. They're not going to do it all in one quarter, you wouldn't think, but they just need to start chipping away. Here's Eddie Betts. Brett Johnson, inside 50, quick movement, but it was over the head of Whitnell. Gasper at ground levels, got a problem now. He's got the ball in underneath him. Comes out. Bowden heads towards the boundary and finds it. Throw in.
Gee, Brett Johnson, you know, you get the opportunity, the turnover, it's come back in the centre, and you have to hit a player 15 to 20 metres in front of you with a short pass. That just has to happen at this level.
Blues need a good start in this second term. French got the tap. Koutafidis from the stoppage. Steps inside Bowden. Hands off to Lappin. He bends it back towards the goal square, right to the line. Off the hands of Callaway and Longmuir and through for a minor score.
Well, he's been very good, Callaway, along with Gasper. You know, the midfield's done well, but I thought the Richmond defence in that first quarter was absolutely superb. Chance for Coughlin. Just really starting to hit his straps. You can see the confidence returning for the best and fairest winner a couple of years ago. Here's Waite. One of the young guns. Can he inspire the Blues? Put his teammate under a lot of pressure there that time in Whitnell. Gaspar closed quickly. Good tackle by Johnson. Gaspar did it well. It was a clever handball. Sets it up to Coughlin. To Tambling, back to Coughlin, to the half-forward line on Richardson. Too big, too strong, too tall and too good at the moment for anything that Carlton can put on him. Here's Deledio, a real live wire, backs himself in, charges through half-forward, treats the Carlton defence with disdain, then hammers the ball in, punched away that time by Prendergast, pounced on by Houlihan. Richmond's tackling has been absolutely superb. Caught high that time, I thought. Johnson was looking for a free kick. They've got a ball up. Let's go down to Glenn Manton.
Interesting to see Teague now picking up Pettifer. Gives him a chance to do what he does best, and that is help out zone defence.
Yeah, that's happened because Prendergast has gone to Stafford.
Well, it's a better height matchup, don't you think, Tony?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Teague's much better on a smaller player. Koutafidis from half-back. Down towards Waite, tried to tickle the ball. Paul is very happy to see it over the line for a toss back in.
It is better. I think they just worried about Prendergast as being an athlete, not playing in defence that long, but they're going to teach him today, or they have to teach him now because they are under the pump on the scoreboard.
Tigers by 43.74 players, 3 behinds. Campbell pinched that time by Cracker. Half smothered off the boot. Lappin hammers the ball back towards the half-forward line. Bowden. Western Ferris winner from last year, enjoying a lot of the ball early in this game. And you see Camporelli. The Blues just looking for that loose player, something to sort of create a spark. Not much happening down forward. And there's an example of why they're under so much pressure. And Camporelli somehow just shoved the ball out to Houlihan. They're going backwards. Carlton absolutely going backwards. The Tigers are ferocious. They've given away a free kick. But it was a good passage of play by Richmond.
It was, and Matty Lappin's gone the half forward. He has had 2 possessions. They need a lift from him because he is a playmaker for the Blues.
Camporelli pokes it down the line to Teague. Just no movement at the moment. Richmond get it at half-back. There's flow, there's run, there's overlap plays coming past. At the moment, Carlton are going contest to contest. Teague down the line. Look at the pack around this one. Off hands, Scotland into the path of Waite. A chance now for the Blues. It's Walker, in fact, from 55. Awful kick. Gasper leads Whitnell to the ball. Gets a kindly bounce. Pumps it long towards the wing, and again it's a 2-on-1. Richmond with numbers at the ball. Hall steps inside Waite. Towards half forward. Awkward one for Campbell. Was tidy. Coughlin stepped around Houlihan. Handball over the top. Comes back now to Campbell. Pokes it inside 50. Brown down low. And there's the difference. Couldn't be more stark. Carlton had it at half-back. Teague, no run, no options. Gasper got it to his half-back line. Richmond players running everywhere.
I'll tell you one player who's really in the last month, KB, been given some big jobs. Ray Hall. You know, agile player. He was the one man who ran onto the wing. I don't know about Bannister on Brown. I think Brown is too good a player, goes laterally too much. Jordan Bannister's better a run with role.
He's booted 2 this afternoon. Starts that one out to the left. Not his best effort, a minor score. So the Tigers in complete control at the moment. As I mentioned, Carlton, when they have their barometer players, and that man with the football is one of them, he's done his bit so far. French, Koutafidis, Lappin, Camporelli, Whitnell, all need to get on top in their respective positions to try and turn this around for the Blues. Johnson, important in close. Houlihan had it stripped. Brown was clever, very clever from 50. On the wrong side, Nathan Brown goes for goal. That is brilliant. What a goal. Stripped the handball from the boundary line on his non-preferred foot. That's about as good as it gets.
That is one of the best goals we've seen for a long, long time, because he took it out of the hands of the Carlton player. Have a look at it here, Tony. Here's Houlihan.
Houlihan, yes.
Knocked it out of his hands, then put the foot on the accelerator on his non-preferred side with very little daylight. He's kicked a beauty.
Well, he just said, I don't want to have set shots on goal, just give me the hard ones. And you're right, it's good to see the defensive thought process of Nathan Brown. You know, even just that touch, release the ball, and then the finish like that. We know he's got the silky skills. As I say about Jordan Bannister, I said it before that goal, I think it's a problem area. And I'll try and get another bloke who might be able to match up on him. Maybe Teague has to go to him and Bannister on Cracker, who's not as dangerous.
I'm glad it's you ringing the changes, Tony.
Well, you've got to try something.
Pinched again, this time by Kane. Johnson goes wide. Simmons just glided onto the ball in front of DeLuca. Plenty of numbers around the ball for Richmond. Chance now for Richardson. Hammers the ball in. Getting back this time is French. Couldn't take the grab. Danger here at ground level. Brown's there. He's booted 3. Johnson to Cracker. Wrapped up in the tackle that time. And we've got a ball up 35 metres out from goal.
Gee, if you're some of the Carlton defenders, you'd be asking Dennis Pagan and some of their teammates at half-time, what's going on with the midfield?
Not the white
It's
flag.
an avalanche.
Seeing the Blues so much off balance as they are now. Here's Koutafidis trying to get something going through Camporelli, but the Tigers are ferocious with their tackling.
And that just causes just that stanza of play with Brett Thornton out on the wing, the fumble. That's what happens when pressure. It mightn't be there, but you feel it, you think it is, and that's when you make mistakes.
No easy kicks, no easy handballs for Carlton today. The Tigers lead by 50 points. Still just under 15 minutes left in the second term. Campbell had it and lost it. This time Houlihan. Koutafidis winning the ball in close. Teague again. Building the wall is Bowden. Runs to 60. Unloads a big bomb. Cracker's getting back. Gives a little shove out. Prendergast. Desperate defensive play. Consummate defender punches the ball through for a behind.
Now, KB, I know it's all happening for Richmond, and they're 51 points up. Can you tell me why Andy Cracker would be in the goal square? You know, he was a marking option then.
Well, he should be there at the feet of the bigger players, but he just found himself there, Tony.
Lappin to Teague, contesting hard as always, but again they go to a contest. Richmond just able to get uncontested possessions at will at the moment. Carlton seemingly having to kick to contests. Off the boot of Simpson. Stevens to Lappin. Trying to create. He's got Scotland in some space. Here's Walker coming past. It's wide open for Whitnell inside 50. How's the kick? It was good, but good pressure too from Gasper. At ground level, Scotland run over the top of it. And here go the Tigers. Deletio to Tivendale, out in front of Simmons, and there's the difference. Hits him on the chest. leads hard to the 50.
They've got a new opponent, and it looks like Wiggins.
Brown capable of anything at the moment. Richmond's confidence absolutely sky high. Inside 50 to the lead of Cracker.
That's why he's in the square.
They're playing beautiful football at the moment, Richmond.
Is the small option, Tony.
Mixing it up. And now Andrew Cracker, very skillful player. He's kicked 59 goals, 34 in his 62-game career. Tight angle, but you'd think him capable from here with his best.
Well, right where we're commentating, we're right behind this, and I think we can call it pretty well, Jason. And that is straight through the middle.
Beautiful finish from Andrew Cracker. The Tigers having a day out at the MCG. They are playing irresistible football at the moment. The margin now 57 points. And it's not only their finishing, but their ball movement, their transition play has been outstanding. Their use of the football has been so tidy. And then going the other way, the defensive pressure has just been impeccable as well.
Well, again, let's think about the defence of Richmond, though. And KB said it. Callaway on Whitnell was right on him. Gasper on Whitnell was right on him. The ball comes in one-on-one. They lose the contest. And you're going to rebound 85% of the time from there. Their defence has held it. Look, it's all working for Terry Walsh at the moment. These are the days you love to be in the coach's box.
Not the Carlton one.
9-6-60 the Tigers.
One-way
just three
street.
behind the Carlton. They trail by 57 points. Camporelli on centre wing to centre half forward. Richmond defence has been absolutely superb. Whitnell. Can he conjure up something for the Blues? Johnson backtracks to Walker. Hammers the ball.
Look at
just
the
within
numbers.
15 metres of goal, but here's Bowden going back. Strong eyes on the ball. The Tigers are keen to play on into every opportunity. Got some run in the legs. Want to create. Don't want to be stagnant. And they've been very direct as well. Plenty of big winners. Carlton's been one of them. Newman takes it from Johnson. Beautiful kick. Finds Simmons. Here comes Brown. Just couldn't quite take it. It was nearly a slips catch. Houlihan comes away, gets good support from Wiggins. So Houlihan now looks forward, and O'Helpin was screaming for the ball. The young man in his first game is still by himself. Simpson hasn't picked him up yet. He's about the only one on the ground that hasn't. Camporelli was put under fierce pressure.
Right.
Carlton just cannot handle the ball. Tigers are absolutely supreme across half back. Here's Deledio, finds Tuck, winning the ball in close. Tigers on the charge. Deledio through centre half forward, runs to 50, smothered off the boot. The young man was in a hurry. Ambitions and capabilities just got out of control. Here's a chance for Pettifer. Picked up this time by Wiggins under a lot of pressure. Houlihan looks very tired. He's just been for a run on the Great Southern side of the ground and he's exhausted.
Oh,
Here's
well
Eddie
done.
Betts. Just too casual. Not casual Newman. He was desperate. Bumps the ball back over the line.
Well, again, Deledio, he's made 3 or 4 mistakes in this game coming up to half-time or just prior to half-time, but I would think Terry Walsh would send the runner out and say, you keep running with the ball. You become an 80-metre player.
You know, they might be sending copies of this tape over to Ireland during the week.
No, I don't think so.
Campbell, stripped of it. Betts, advantage paid for holding the ball out of the ruck contest. Can Eddie provide a spark? Awkward kick again for Whitnell. Had his man beaten on that occasion, but the kick let him down. Gasper picked it off. Newman. Johnson. Coughlin. They're lining up for the Tigers at the moment. Simmons and DeLuca. DeLuca out of his depth in the back half.
Well, it's pretty tough playing in defence for Carlton at the moment because the ball is just coming down at will.
I don't think Simmons been a major influence in the game, but very hard, like you say.
Campbell. Awkward kick to the pocket for Brown. Tight in close. In the end, finds the line. I guess my point being, Tony, he can be a damaging player. At the moment, they're getting nothing out of him. He's not really doing any defensive work as such. Do they look at a move? But then again, who? I mean, these are obviously all the issues that Dennis is throwing around the box as we speak.
We talked about it. Would even I don't know, Teague play again?
Whitnell just needs some support, doesn't he?
Well, he does. He needs another taller option.
Someone needs to get down there and help him.
Oh, Chippendale.
Here's Chippendale with the greatest of ease. Measures it. And pumps it through.
Well,
That says it all for Carlton fans.
the big talking point now, Tony, is can they kick a goal?
Well, it is the talking point, and they don't look like kicking a goal because they cannot get anybody. And the thing about Lance Whitnell is, and that was too easy, in defence, even if you're a midfielder, Camporelli, you just cannot allow a player to get around you like that and have a shot on goal. But Whitnell can't get off his man. He hasn't got the leg speed to get off Gaspar. So, you know, you need to find someone else to put in there. I think you're right now. The game's well and shot. You have to put the Luca into the forward line and get someone, even swap them over. See if Whitnell can have his time down there.
Well, many years ago, they only kicked one goal against the Western Bulldogs, Carlton, didn't they, Tony? And that was on a very wet day. Manar Siri kicked a goal just in the dying moments. This is a beautiful day at the MCG. Two great traditional rivals, and Carlton are being absolutely slaughtered by the Tigers. So many mistakes. Here's Whitnell, wrapped up in the tackle, maybe now Lappin with a bit of magic to the goal square. Something's got to happen for Carlton. But Newman chips in, and Stafford is hurt. So there's bad news for the Tigers as Newman goes short. Just not picking up their man. Here's Deledio.
Which is Coggle and Deledio. They look very similar, don't they? And good players.
Well, Deledio is quick and likes to run with the ball, and I think that's a great attribute in a player. He's Chaffee, just becoming the 50th player in Richmond's history to play 150 games, and that's not a good sight for Stafford. Chaffee, that time didn't quite hit his target. That was a rare mistake for the Tigers. So Jared Waite just ambles away the kicking of Carlton. I'm not quite certain whether he even meant that to Johnson.
Big Lance is on deep, but they never saw him, and go kick straight to Noble. He's just come off the bench, so there's no respite for the Blues.
Well, that's the beauty about the Tigers. They can still have the tall timber, still have Noble and Ray Hall in defence. I mean, very good with their foot skills today. Pettifer kicked a great goal in the first quarter from outside 50. Now the loose player is set up. Bowden is a master at it. Edge of the centre square. Short. Brown.
Well, that isn't good enough. That is not good enough from a senior player. First Camporelli with Tivendale, and then Matty Lappin allowed Joel Bowden to come back in the centre corridor. Had to work him to the boundary line. This is what sets up an easy shot on goal, because at least you're in the centre corridor. Just lazy football.
Well, Nathan Brown's booted 3 goals. 2 came in the first quarter, and a magnificent goal in this second term. So he stands right on 55.
It's a mongrel.
And drops short. And Richardson just caught behind, wasn't thinking on that occasion, and Camporelli will come away from the back pocket.
Prendergast playing as the loose man in defence. There's Whitnell. Puts it out in front of Gaspar.
Smothered off the boot.
Coming through Callaway. Little give off to Campbell, wrapped up by Walker. Johnson harassed. Newman, beautiful handball to Campbell. And again the Tigers break away. Flips it back. Chaffee pokes it down the line. Gaspar stayed forward of Whitnell. Now Coghlan closes to 55. Attacks the square. Richardson in position. Numbers around him at ground level. The Crummers of Richmond. Cracker taken down. Simpson got boot to ball straight to Deledio. Can measure it. Go for it. And bang it through for another.
Well, this is embarrassing, Tony.
You've never seen so many low or to no pressure goals in a game of footy, not even at half-time.
Well, look, we're wrapping up every part of their game at the moment, Richmond, and that's what happens. You totally dominate a side. They kick the ball long. There's Coghlan. Coughlan's now had 22 possession. Who is playing on him? What we thought it might have been Stevens. Well, if you want to play 50-50, it'll hurt you like that. And that just came out too easy to Deledio. He's had a great game himself. He's had 11 possessions.
Let's head down to Glenn Matton for an update on Greg Stafford.
Well, with Greg Stafford getting his right angle treated in the dugout and Richmond playing the way they are, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back out on the ground and kicks 10.
He did it at the centre bounce too. Just fell awkwardly at centre bounce, and gee, it's not good when you're such a big man, put that weight on it.
Tigers by 69 points, 11-6 to Blues 3 behinds. What a quarter, what a half it's been by the Tigers as Walker hammers the ball down for Carlton, but Richmond's defence has been just fantastic. Bowden finds Newman. Wait, that was good play. Needs a bit of support. Houlihan again has to backtrack, concedes ground. Chance for Waite, stands and delivers. And again, Tigers getting back in numbers. And Bowden, easy in defence. And now the run will come. Chaffee Goes wide to Johnson. Finds Campbell. So captain to ex-captain. Beautiful kick out in front. And Pettifer didn't even have to break stride. To Richardson. On the stretch in front of Thornton. Too far out to score. Cracker is on a lead. Teague's got the job on the will of the wisp as Richardson goes long looking for Noble. Second grab. Couldn't take it. Danger man at ground level was Cracker. Gives it across to Tivendale. This time off target and apologises to Pettifer, saying I should have given it to you.
Tell you what, you don't want to be injured in this Richmond side, do you, today? I know Stafford's gone. Look at the Carlton supporter saying, what is, get him off.
I think he might be saying, should we go to the car now?
No, should we get off and get going on our bike?
Should we beat the traffic? Got to stay to the end. Bittersweet or otherwise.
You do. And look at this, bad decision making.
Deledio's having a day out. And he's not alone for the Richmond side. Camporelli to Wiggins. Off half back, looks up. What's he got? Goes to Waite. One-on-one with Hall. Johnson in there working for the Blues, but Hall emerges with it. Links up with Johnson and now Newman. Newman chips down the line. Here's Deledio again by himself. He's got time to look up from 55. Goes with a spiral, if you don't mind, such as the confidence. Simmons versus DeLuca at the back. At ground level, DeLuca puts the body in. Simpson, Cracker, slick hands. Tivendale, Campbell, Richardson at 50. Measures, misses. Looked awkward, but again we see a shot at goal without any pressure from a Carlton opponent. 74 plays 3. Time on in the second term. We've got Kevin Taylor ferreting through the stats books as we speak, KB, looking up all the numbers.
They're on target, Richmond, to deliver the biggest defeat in Carlton's history.
Camporelli to Simpson.
I think I would have taken Richo off after that shot on goal. He went against the team rules. He played on inside 50.
I think you'd like him. He was just outside,
okay,
a step outside. That'll be his argument. Richardson, handball to Tivendale. An extraordinary number of uncontested possessions for the Tigers. Campbell, Kellaway, Johnson, Coughlin. They throw it around. Brown over the top. Now Kellaway's drifted forward from that last contest to take a mark inside 50.
Well, Andy Kellaway said, look, boys, I'm going to get into the act here. This is too easy. He's run from half-back line. I think he's had 3 or 4 possessions in that one stanza of play. And now he's got a chance of having a shot on goal, which I don't know how many career goals he would have kicked.
Andrew Kellaway's kicked 24-15 in his 148 games. He's kicked 1 this season.
If I was Koutoufides, I'd call for a king.
Yes, you might be right.
Of your players or the opposition's?
The opposition. Obviously, Richmond's got too many players on the ground.
Carlton don't have enough.
Oh, look at this. It's happening.
Andrew Kellaway kicks an absolute belter. And you know your day's going well when those ones sail through. Just to dig the knife in that little bit more for Carlton fans. 12-8-80. The Blues 3 behinds. And look, trying not to be too disparaging about Carlton, just to call it as you see it, but we've got to try and find...
No, Carlton have been shocking.
Exactly right. That's my point, KB. That's my point.
They are shocking today. Absolutely shocking.
But Richmond have been superb.
They have been. They have been. Dennis Pagan would be very disappointed at the lack of heart from the Carlton players, just in chasing, tackling, picking up an opposition player. He would be saying to him, you don't need talent to do those sorts of things, to put pressure on people, to run with them.
And there was just a former great Carlton player, Greg Williams, and he would be thinking, gee, going back to the halcyon days when he played at Carlton, this is horrid.
This is one of the worst halves of football that I think we've ever seen, and certainly...
It'll be under Dennis Pagan's tutelage.
Well, I reckon it's the worst half of football Carlton's ever played in the club's history.
Gee, that's going back a bit, Pagan. It's
Kellaway, he's inspired. He's kicked a goal. Here's Johnson. Was it Johnson in front? Pettifer. One of his rare mistakes as well. Stevens. They can't play on Carlton. This is where Richmond have been fantastic. Just holding up the Blues. And all of a sudden, they've got to backtrack, concede ground. Here's a chance for Hall that you've spoken about. Tony has been very good. Clean hands on that occasion. Didn't quite hit the target was Campbell. Kellaway. Back to Gaspar, who's been superb in defence. Hammers the ball back towards the boundary line, squeezed up on the boundary line, punched over the line for a toss back in.
You know, you've got to have somewhere, you've got to have some pride, especially in your forward line. You know, they've pumped the ball in Richmond, of course, we know that. But inside 50s at 23 times has gone in for Carlton. Someone, somewhere along the line in those times, KB, has to win a one-on-one.
23 times inside 50, and they've kicked 3 behinds.
And 10 marks to 3 inside 50 when it's gone in, KB.
The Tigers have gone inside 50 30 times. And we can see what they've kicked, 80 points. So they lead by 77 points.
Efficiency, it's incredible, isn't it?
Possession count's phenomenal. 74 more possessions for Richmond. That's 4 gun midfielders absolutely flying. Well, they're all uncontested possessions, a difference as well.
Coughlin's had it 24 times, 15 to Bowden, 13 to Johnson, 13 to Newman, 12 to Timmendale. Camporelli's had it 17. Now this time Lappin takes the mark in front of Chaffee.
Well, I've been disappointed with Lappin today. Not just, he's got a lot of mates, let me say that, but if you're undisciplined play, letting players get around him instead of playing the percentages, he's coming in for his 6th possession, and it would have been round 19, 2002, the Port Adelaide only kicked 4 points to half-time.
Carlton kicked 4
That was the last
Port.
time.
Yeah, Carlton kicked 4 points against Port.
2002.
Just over 2 minutes left in this second term, and Matthew Lappin with a chance to kick Carlton's first goal.
Let's listen to the crowd reaction to see the Blues.
And Matthew Lappin has kicked a goal at long last for Carlton. Hallelujah!
Came at the 25-minute mark of the second term. The Blues on the board.
I'll tell you, another test now, and I'm looking forward to the second half in one way. This game, but just to see how Richmond go about it, Kate. But you know, like they have been a side when they were really going well at times that they just let it go. Like it's a real test of their mentality under Terry Wallace to say, I would be thinking he'd want to win every quarter. Just say, I want to win. Could be 2 points, but at least we've stayed competitive. Let's not let Carlton just win a couple of quarters in the at the end of the game. It's a real mental test, I would think.
Well, the Tigers have been a club in recent years who have never had a percentage, Tony. They're still only under 98%, so they're still under 100%. So this is a rare opportunity to really get a big boost to the percentage.
There's the Richmond bench. Shane Tuck, centre of screen, alongside Deletio and Kane Johnson. Deletio been outstanding. He's had 12 possessions. He's on his way to his career best in his short career. 16 at the moment. Camporelli. Now to Stevens. Rare foray forward for the Blues. Goes to the pocket again. We see numbers with the Tigers. They just get back in numbers. Well, switch play. It will be Tambling at half back. Holds it up.
Just one player I'd love to talk about is Nick Stevens. He's really trying hard, but I just wonder, has he got a defensive bone in his body? Because how could he get that ball on the wing if he didn't follow his man to the ball at centre-half forward?
Tivendale off the Richardson contest. Simmons at ground level. DeLuca can't quite get across to Graham. Inside 50. Off the hands of the contest. Richardson against Thornton. Cracker off the deck, gets another. He's booted his second. And Richmond have their highest half-time score in history against Carlton. They're 13-8-86, eclipsing 12-12-84 they kicked against the Blues in round 3 of 1973. You were there that day, KB, and this is quite an extraordinary first-half performance from the Tigers.
That's where I think Cracker's strength is going to be with Richmond. I don't really see him as a midfield player, but just one of those brilliant players who's got innate goal sense and skills, and he'll kick them off the ground. He'll get the ball that just pops at the back of the pack. He'll just sort of pounce on it, and he could kick. He's one of those players like, say, a Stephen Milne. He could kick 45, 50 goals in a season, Cracker. So the Tigers, 86 plays 9. Be interesting to be in the Carlton rooms at half-time just to hear what Dennis Pagan would have to say to the troops, because the Tigers are just playing with the Blues at the moment. Pettifer hammers the ball deep along. Here's Richardson. He reckons he was held, Richardson. I think he was right too. They had hold of his jumper. Graham was the high flyer at the back of the pack. Now he's on the bottom of the pack, and we've got a ball up 30 metres out from goal.
The personnel in their forward line, KB, last year, they still had Richo there, but their style of play just didn't suit the setup. Now you can see that Terry Wallace is saying just put it to the top of the square.
And moving the ball quickly around the ground. Non-stop action. As soon as someone gets a mark or a free kick, their first thought is to get back and get the ball moving. Players moving forward. Look at this, a standing ovation for the Richmond team at half-time, because they have been absolutely superb 3 goals to Nathan Brown, 2 goals to Matthew Richardson, 2 goals to Andrew Cracker. They're the main goal kickers, and of course the only goal kicker for Carlton is Matthew Lett.
Whitnell's gone back to play on Simmons at centre-half back. There's Lance Whitnell, centre of screen.
I was quite surprised after about 4 or 5 goals that Whitnell wasn't back. There was a loose man in defence because Pagan has done that before.
Third term at the MCG. The Tigers by 77 points. As we start the third stanza, their best ever half-time score against Carlton. French against Noble. Tuck and Johnson scrapping at ground level. French collapses in over the top of it and will have another bounce.
Just have a look at this stop play to just see where the Carlton players are. Are they within touching area? Yes, you can see everyone's got one-on-one. They're touching them. Richmond are trying to do the same, but at least I think that's the mentality for the second half.
Got to be aggressive, don't they? Get on the front foot a little bit. Here's a chance for the Tigers again. Simmons from 50. Attacks the goal square. They've been so direct this afternoon, Richmond. Brown against Wiggins. Brown tries to keep it in. Wiggins played it pretty well, actually.
Around the shoulder.
Umpire penalised him. They were scrapping. Brown took possession of the football. Umpire will call Brown back. He's called time off.
Good play by Terry Wallace. He's seen Wiggins has gone to Brown late in that halfway during the second quarter as he comes in board.
He's booted 3 and now he's kicked 4. The misery continues for the Blues. The Tigers go further in front. Simon Wiggins feels aggrieved. Nathan Brown has 4.
Well, look, he's just a young player, Simon Wiggins, still trying to learn the game. You've got to throw it to your senior players. David Teague, go and play on Nathan Brown. He's not that big. You can outmark him body. It's just the smarts, and that was a free kick. And just good players finish off like this. And, well, we've got one here, Kevin Bartley, who's one of the best of all time. But that's what good players do.
Well, just to put this game in perspective, 77 points, which the Tigers led by at half-time. That was the biggest winning margin ever over Carlton in the history of the Richmond Football Club. They led by that at half-time. Now, of course, it's 83 points. So it looks like it's going to be an historic game for the Tigers. And whether or not Carlton can actually just conjure up something in this second half is going to be one of the most interesting things to see whether or not pride is on the line.
The one thing about that one-on-one football, you've got to be proactive. I mean, you take the first step to the ball, because other than that, you'll be following backsides, and that's when you give free kicks away.
That's a good point. They've got to try and just let themselves go. Take some risks, see if they can, defend when they've got to defend. Here's the Tigers coming forward, looking for Richardson. That time on the stretch, couldn't take it. Whitnell now. Back in defence, hammers the ball back to the edge of the centre square. Getting back is Noble. Couldn't take it. At ground level, the Tigers have been absolutely fantastic with numbers around the ball. Here's Callaway wrapped up in the tackle. And we've got a ball up. Yes, Tony, if you just do everything negative by the Carlton players in the second half by, just trying to follow Richmond around the ground, well, they'll never score. But this is as bad as I've seen Carlton play. This is completely against everything that Carlton has shown in their improvement so far this year. Simpson on hands and knees. Young man just still trying to make his way in the game as Carlton try and come forward. Here's a chance now for Koutafidis to Johnson. Stands outside 50. Here's Gaspar. Takes the front position. He's been superb today. We heard Glenn Manton talking about. Here's Heath Scotland trying to find Lappin there. Sole goal kicker. Quick snap into the pocket, trying to make ground his weight. Couldn't quite get it on the half volley. And Coughlin, who's had 24 possessions, is happy to see the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Just thought DeLuca, Darren Gaspar had his arm over the shoulder of DeLuca in that marking contest in the goal square. Nathan Brown got a free kick up the other end, but it wasn't to be for Carlton.
Tuck at the front of the contest. Harassed by Waite, taken to ground. Play on the call. Bannister. Now to Johnson. Umpire is going to call it back. He's going to say it was in the back against Jared Waite. Free kick going back to Shane Tuck.
This is a great story, Tony, of perseverance, isn't it?
Yes,
having belief in yourself and not giving up on your dream.
Teague, he was dealt with. Umpire said Mark will be paid. He goes to Graham down the line. Richmond been very good by foot this afternoon. They've just been very good full stop in every aspect of the game. Camporelli inboard. Lappin disposed of his opponent but went to ground himself. Simpson, the youngster. Koutafidis. Bannister. Awkward kick inside 50, but a mark taken by French. And the big man will go back from right on 50 directly in front in a bid to kick Carlton's second goal of the afternoon.
Well, good move. It looks like Barnaby French has been told go forward and try and take a mark. We can't win the game, but we can at least try and get some goal scoring power from you that way. He has pushed back early in the game, but it just didn't stop the onslaught.
He's kicked 1 goal for the season, Barnaby French, 29-13 in his 105 game career. Chance to kick the Blues second. Good looking kick off the boot. Beautiful finish from Barnaby French. And the Blues have got their second goal.
Well, that's the ploy. You have to get forward to kick goals. Cade Simpson, he's done some good things, Cade Simpson, for a youngster in the game. And again, still learning. But there's Barnaby French takes so much. Gee, he's been good. He hasn't been great today, but he's been outnumbered at all. He might have won the taps, but Richmond on ballers have really done well at ground level. But he's been a fantastic player for Carlton over a year and a half. They need a Matty, they need another, no, Matty Allen's not there. They need another ruckman to stand up for the Blues. He's done a lot of workload over the last year and a half.
Barnaby French just might inspire the Blues. Here's Johnson out of that centre square to the half-forward line. And again, Chaffey. Playing in his 150th game today, just the 50th player for the Tigers to do that. Can set it up, tuck. Now there is a story. Goes short, finds Meyer. Some big raps on young Danny Meyer down at Tigerland. Here's Richardson again playing in front of Thornton. Takes the grab. Squeezed up on the boundary line. But he's kicked 2 goals, both those goals coming in the first term. He's got 2 behinds next to his name as well.
KB Shane Tuck, he looks like he's got the running ability of his father, Michael, who just had unbelievable stamina.
Well, that was one of the reasons Terry Wallace decided to keep Shane Tuck on, because he said his father was a bit of a late developer, played a lot of games in the reserves, maybe
90
even, close to 100 games in the reserves, so he thought maybe like father, like son. 9 individual goal kickers for the Tigers today, and Richardson this time is way off target. That just floated off the boot. Just comes away limping. And through for a behind. That's his 3rd of the afternoon. Here's Wayne Campbell on the bench. He'll be stretching and itching to get into the action. Stevens short to Camporelli. Around the corner. And another poor disposal.
No one's on the mark.
And Richardson just caught in 2 minds. Squeezed up on 50 around the corner. And again, Simmons. Easy as you like. Takes the grab.
Well, when your superstar players or your senior players start kicking the ball like Scott Camporelli, turning it over from 10 metres or 15 metres out straight to Richo. Richo got caught up again. I still think he's got to go back and have a shot on goal, but no one on the mark. Got him in 2 minds. But again, look, how easy is this? Where are the players 2 on 1 and you're only 25, 30 metres out from goal? That would be hurting Dennis Pagan. You would think he'd be ropeable in the box with their non-competitive ways at the moment.
Simmons, you see that beautiful camera shot there. We can follow the ball. He has pushed it right and through for a behind. First score of the afternoon.
I think Carlton have got to try a few things.
Do you think so, Tony?
No, not to win the game, but just for development. Like I talked about Cade Simpson. Give him a run on ball. Just because you don't learn until you get in that position. Give him a run on ball and say, all right, have a go and let's see what you've got for the future.
Houlihan kicks the ball long and wide, taken by Tivendale to Noble. Back to Tivendale, who was happy to concede ground to Tambling. Squeezed up on the wing and takes the mark. Young Richard Tambling, just playing in his 2nd game. Just 4 possessions today to Tuck. He's been the hard nut midfielder the Tigers have been looking for. Uses the ball well, finds Graham, trying to rebuild his career after spending many years with Hawthorn. Here's Brown. He's already booted 4 goals. Kicks a high ball to the goal square. Big pack of players. Teague goes back. Always brave. Chance there. Was that Cracker dragged to the ground?
And the umpire's seen, I think. No, free kick.
So it'll go to Cracker. Andrew Cracker's already kicked 2 goals. And both those goals coming in the 2nd term. That's why I was saying before, Tony, it's that sort of thing in the goal square where Cracker's there, that he's quick and he'll just get a push in the back, or he'll kick it off the ground, or take a free kick, or take a crumb.
Easy goal coming up.
So he just strolls in and kicks goal number 3.
Well, I agree, KB. The thing is, they haven't had it for the last 2 or 3 years where they've been kicking the ball like this, at least. And I think you being one of the best crummers of all time again, one of the best kicks, one of the best crummers. He's done it all, Kevin Butler, hasn't he?
Pumped him up today.
Oh,
We've been a retainer here.
Well, we have to do
on?
something. The game's flat, isn't it? It's got. But the one thing about him is, if you know they're going to kick this style, play this style, that they, when in doubt, they can't hit anybody in 50. They kick it to the top of the square. All roving players love that. You know what's going to happen in the second thought, so you just know it's easy to crumb.
Tigers have cracked the ton. They lead by 85 points. The 9.5-minute mark of the 3rd term. Nothing going right for the Blues this afternoon. Back in the middle of the ground, French against Noble. Noble got the tap. Coughlin hovering over it again. It's been everywhere this afternoon. Mark Coughlin. Koutoufides tried to release it from the congestion. Here's Coughlin again, goes back and wins it, breaks a tackle. Works himself into some space. Awkward looking kick. Set up for Simmons. Taken down by Whitnell. Lappin and French get in each other's way. French dished off a handball to Whitnell. Whitnell tumbles towards half forward. Awkward bounce for Walker and Callaway. The Tiger defender worked him under it. Hall under pressure. They seem to have endless number of options, the Tigers, this afternoon. Newman pokes it outside defensive 50. Deledio stripped of it by Stevens. Was good play. Here's Walker. Now Bannister steps a tackle. Quick right foot snap from Jordan Bannister across the face of goal. We'll have a throw in adjacent to the behind post.
Just like that Jordan Bannister had that shot on goal. He's playing defensively on Joel Bowden. Joel Bowden's playing across halfback, so a defensive half forward. I don't know. I'd rather get a goal scorer, someone who marks the ball and crumbs. Because you know, the game's over. You just don't want that roll, I don't think.
Ordinary throw-in fell short.
And the umpire's recalling. Well done.
So we'll have a reload.
You think they should come in from the boundary line like the Wizard Cup, KB? I think it was a great rule.
Yeah, most people seem to like it. It does certainly open up the goal front.
French worked his man under it. Here's Eddie Betts. But again, besieged. Numbers around the ball have been telling today for Richmond. Bowden, Tuck. They've had very good hands in close, although on that occasion Camporelli got on the end of it. He's beset upon. We'll have a bounce just inside the 50 for the Blues.
I think the great advantage of it is that a ruckman can't just punch the ball. I know if it goes out of bounds on the full, but you don't get the throw-ins, the double throw-ins that we did earlier in the last few years.
French. That seems to be one of the positives that have come out of it.
Koutoufides and Stevens. Now Scotland. High ball. Callaway goes at it with intent. He was the only man to do so and took the mark. Defensive 25. Goes short. Again, they have numbers on.
Gee, Shane Tucker's giving Cooter the run around at the moment.
Gasper, one-on-one with DeLuca. DeLuca forced to go the punch. Scotland tidies up at ground level. Now back to DeLuca, confronted by Gasper. In over the top was Teague. DeLuca farmed it out to Koutoufides. Handball now to Wiggins. Wiggins a high ball inside 50. Longmuir's at the back. Has to stand underneath it. Good pressure again. This time it was Newman coming across the front. And he fished it to the line for another throw-in.
They're really a no-name defence, aren't they? Like, Callaway's been around for a long time, but people say they can be beaten sometimes. Gasper's had his times, but he's back to full fitness. Newman, he's done his job on most small forwards this year.
Struggling to get involved, Longmuir. One possession in 36 minutes last week, and he's had one in 6:31 today. So a total of 2 possessions in more than an hour of football. Bowden just thumps it long, looking for territory. Notice he didn't go towards the line, though. He brought it inboard. Such is the confidence of Richmond today. Stevens. Simpson. Can he make them pay through the middle of the ground? Cade Simpson loads it up inside 50. Walker bets over the top. Here's Longmuir at ground level. Handball to Lappin. Steps one. Kicks a goal. Lappin gets his second. The Blues get their third. Matthew Lappin. 9 possessions. And now 2 goals.
Well, you're right. He should have gone for the boundary line, Joel Bowden. He had the confidence to keep the ball in, thinking his midfielders have dominated. Have a look at Eddie Betts. He said, well, you blokes won't mark it. I'll have a go. But he had to on that occasion. I think, you know, at this stage of the game, go for everything you can. And well done to Lappin. You know, it's a long day in the office now in the second half, but you've got to stay disciplined. And I thought Eddie Betts was very good on that occasion. He's got some athletic ability, Eddie Betts, but he's going to have games like this also.
Tigers by 79 points, 15-10 plays 3-3. Stevens has worked hard. That's possession number 20. Koutoufides has also got 14, 22 to Camporelli. Here's Lappin. Short to Longmuir. To back to Lappin. And from 25 metres out, kicks his 3rd goal.
Well, great individual effort there from Matty Lappin. And Dennis Bagan, well, it's one thing you'll take out of this game. He probably asked everybody for one-on-one efforts. He contested the mark at the forward 50, just got a hand to it, and then the ball went over. We'll have a look here. French out to Johnson, to Koutoufides. Kick forward, and here's Lappin, comes in right on the forward 50. The ball went over, good recovery. And then it was a smart kick, but I thought it was going over Longmuir's head. and he just followed up. So good individual effort from Matty Lappin. He's pretty pumped on that. It hasn't been a great day for anybody, but he's kicked 3 goals, so he's put his hand up and said, well, I'm going to keep at it, boys.
And that's what they need, the Blues, just to string something together, not for the sake of winning the game, but more just a case of showing some pride.
You've got another game next week.
Exactly, pricking some pride in players around him as well. They look at him, see that he's working hard. That might just motivate them to do the same. French stripped of it. Coughlin, good tackle taken down by Wiggins. Here's a chance for Tivendale. Hands off towards Pettifer. Whitnell sweating on him. Umpire said just collected him high.
Well, Lance, he was caught. He couldn't do anything. Lance, he had momentum up, and you could see, trying to put his hands up in the air when he's coming into this because he knew he was going to make momentum. I don't know whether that's a free kick.
Well, he ducked his head clearly, didn't he?
He ducked his head, and Lance really stopped. But the umpires paid it.
So Kane Pettifer, dangerous early. Really did find some open space in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the game. He's kicked 12 goals, 2 for the season. He is a fantastic finisher. This from outside 50. Gives it everything he's got. It's a beautiful kick right to the line, and I think it's home. Wonderful kick from Kane Pettifer. He is a deadly finisher, as I mentioned. Now he's kicked 13 goals, 2 for the season. And when you play the sort of position that Kane Pettifer does, he averages 13 touches a game. You need to make your opportunities count, KB, because he might get 3 or 4 opportunities inside 50 a game, and that's the difference.
Well, he's been a bit of a maligned figure too when he first came to Tigerland from Kyabram and took Dickie Clay's number 8. Everyone remembers Dickie Clay as being one of the great players for Richmond, both on the wing and full back, and one of the greats coming out of Kyabram. Seemed to put a lot of pressure on that young boy. He changed his number to number 15. A lot of people thought that he wasn't going to live up to his high draft pick, but this year has been a revelation for him. He's really turning around, so we've got to say that Terry Wallace is getting the best out of Kane Pettifer. Chance for French. Doing quite well in the ruck now, and Koutafidis is very good out that centre square as well. Here's Lappin. He's kicked 3 or 4 goals. Bowden cleans up, goes wide, finds Nathan Brown, who's kicked 4 goals. He's been an absolute live wire. Just accelerates on the burst and charges through that centre square. Here's Pettifer, speak of the devil. This time the kick's a poor one, been taken by Houlihan. So all of a sudden, Carlton just trying to generate a bit of run, Tony. Koutafidis from Stevens. Change of directions. Here's Lappin, and playing in front of Chaffee as mark. Too far out, maybe to score, even for Lappin. Again, caught in 2 minds. Heath Scotland can rocket the ball back to Koutafidis, stands on the point of the square, goes short, and finds Jared Waite. Bit better then by Carlton, Tony, because they wanted to actually generate a bit of forward movement.
I think you can see the contrast in play, and they're moving a ball better now, of course, because I think Richmond have also nearly shut up shop. But the way that Richmond moved the ball, it's got Terry Wallace at the Bulldogs. You could see the way that they get players forward of the ball, quick handballs, and then run the line. So let's see if Wake can finish from here.
Well, he kicked 5 goals last week. He's trying to bend it back, and he's done it. Good goal to Jared Waite, and all of a sudden a bit of fight from Carlton in his 3rd term.
Well, he hasn't been the worst, Jared Waite. I think he's had a real go at it, but he's been outnumbered up forward. No Favola. And gee, Brendan Favola, you just hope that he pulls his head in now in the rest of his career, because they miss him so much. It just means the opposition have another key defender who has to go with someone, and it could release Jared Waite to be the 3rd player picked up by a defender who's not good enough.
And as I mentioned earlier, you throw Brad Fisher back into the mix when he's fit. You've got Favola and Whitnell. You've got Betts, Fisher, Waite, DeLuca. They've got some blend, they've got some mix down there to look forward to in the future. And Terry Wallace, you can see him working the phone here. He wouldn't be happy with this at all, because at the moment the Tigers have just run a bit flat, and Carlton just rallying a little bit. As a coach, he'd be wanting the Tigers to just drive on. Brown. Houlihan beats Campbell to the football. Now to Thornton. Pokes it out wide. The Blues finally finding some space. They had none at all in the first half. Scotland run down by Deledio. Players on both sides running flat at the moment. Campbell pushes forward. Good effort.
Well, Nathan Brown was the player who tapped that ball in, back to Campbell, and then kept running down the line. Just smart play.
He's been hungry today, Nathan Brown, hasn't he? He's been really keen to get involved.
That's his problem. When he's on song with his mind, you just know he's got that much talent, but sometimes he can just, looks like he doesn't want to be out there. Not very often.
Booted 6 last week, another 4 today. He's in red-hot form. Kick goes inside 50. Big pack of players, but won't get to it. Andrew Cracker. Another uncontested possession inside 50 for the Tigers. And Andrew Cracker stepping up to the plate to kick for his fourth.
Well, the ball cannot be in the air that long, and someone like the size of Andrew Cracker mark. Now, that Dennis Pagan, as I said, would be ropeable in the box just because those little images, it doesn't augur well for the future. Someone's not thinking right, or someone's gone outside the game plan, and it's undisciplined. You shouldn't mark like that when the ball's in the air for so long.
For goal number 4, Andrew Cracker guides it through. 2 goals in the second term, 2 in the third for Andrew Cracker. And the Tigers, as we hit time on in the third term, boot their 4th goal for the quarter. Carlton have also kicked 4.
Let's have a look here. The ball's kicked inside the corridor.
Danny Meyer.
Yeah, Danny Meyer. Now, how can that happen? You're thinking someone's not goal side and they haven't done their defensive job the right way.
17-10, 112, the Tigers. 5-3, 33. The Blues, and the Tigers lead by 79 points. Glenn Manton.
Yeah, I actually watched that from ground level, and it was quite clear that Johnson was waiting for Scotland to pick up his man when it was his business to take him in the first place.
Brett Johnson, what? Yeah. Thanks, Mance.
4 goals to Andrew Cracker. He's kicked 2 goals in the second term, 2 now in this third term. 4 goals also to Nathan Brown, 2 to Matthew Richardson, and 2 to Kane Pettifer. Tigers leading goal scorers. Scotland, hands and knees, wrapped up in the tackle that time by Danny Meyer. And for the Blues, just the 3 individual goal kickers, 3 to Matthew Lappin and singles to Barnaby French and Jared Waite. 4
goals apiece, both sides here. So you say that Terry Wallace wouldn't be happy. I don't know whether Dennis Pagan would be happy, but looking at 4 goals each, they've stabilised.
Noble put his hands on the ball first. Johnson driven in the ground that time by Campbell. Coughlin.
He's been in good form.
He looks great, doesn't he? Looks like he's back to the best and fairest form of 2 years ago. Looks really, really sharp and tambling. Young man in a hurry. Just in his second game, goes to the pocket. He's looking for Pettifer. Chance for Cracker. He's already booted 4. Sets it up to Richardson. Touch of the fumbles.
That's a throw.
Just shoveled it back to Pettifer. And he's been pinged.
Well, Richo, he's been a bit out of sorts since half-time.
Well, he's just wanted to hand it to him on a plate. Lance Whitnell. In the back pocket.
I wonder when the player management comes in and Terry Wallace says, OK, oh, what a kick from Lance Whitnell. Isn't that a sign trying to switch the play? Well done, Simpson.
And I tell you what, Richardson made so much ground then he nearly pinched it. Thornton has had his hands full with Richardson. Goes short, very short. Now he's just going to pop this over the top. In fact, he's had a ping himself. It's a big ping right to the line. And Simpson has banged it home. What a monumental error that was. He could have even passed it off short. I think it was Nathan Brown who was in short. Decided to have a crack at it himself. Confidence is high. And Carlton just cannot hit a target.
Well, Troy Simmons, he's had, look, I think everybody's had possessions. He's had 12 possessions. And look, a long kick in. Yeah, Nathan Brown thought, hey, I still want to get in the active. I'll get me boot to it. It's my goal.
10th individual goal kicker for the Tigers.
It's a domination. But even that kick from Brett Thornton, who you know is a very good player, and I think a leader of this club in the future. I think he'll be the next captain of Carlton, and you can see Dennis Pagan there. If that doesn't say it, nothing will. They say a picture says 1,000 words. That's a couple of million right there.
And most of them we couldn't say right now.
It'd be a bit unusual, Tony, if Thornton was the next captain, because playing at full-back, we don't see many full-backs
I don't care.
being captain of a club.
He could play at centre-half back anyway, but it doesn't matter where he plays. It's just how you go about it, Caven.
I think he will return to centre-half back once Livingston's fit and healthy. As Teague goes forward to the southern stand wing. Lappin one-on-one with Chaffey. Chaffey toe poked it to his own advantage. Lappin takes him down. Play on, Tambling, Scotland. Scotland may have been legged. Play on the call, picked up by Coughlin.
He's killing him
everywhere. Ubiquitous this afternoon, Mark Coughlin. Over the top now to Ray Hall. Sprints away from Walker. Spears the kick towards Richardson at 50. One-on-one with Thornton. Thornton got it to ground. Stevens commits the body. Pettifer over the top. Again, numbers inside 50. Tivendale. Campbell. Pettifer. Pitiful. The mark taken by Cracker.
Well,
for his 5th.
What about on the 50-metre arc? The ball comes to Richardson, Whitnell, his own man Thornton. Now look at this, 2-on-1. All right, good play by Thornton. Now Whitnell and Thornton have to follow up here. The ball's still in dispute. And what happened was, I think it was Nick Stevens ran at it. Richo doubled up, bumped Stevens, and then Richmond get another shot on goal.
Cracker to equal his all-time best 5. He does. He's got 3 for the term, Andrew Cracker. And the Tigers go further in front. The margin out to 91 points. And the Richmond fans are just drinking it in the sunshine.
And well done to Andrew Cracker. This is about team sport. Now watch this. This is Richo. That was after the contest where the ball spilled, and Thornton and also Whitnell just watched. Here it is. Come on, boys. You've got to get your body inside knowing your teammate's going to get in the contest. Well done to Matthew Richardson. That's his goal, and I think Andrew Cracker, as we just saw, congratulate him, saying well done. Kept it alive. That's why we kicked 6 points.
Tigers by 91 points, 19-10 plays, 5-3. Andrew Cracker has booted 5 goals. 3 of those goals now coming in the third term, equaling his best ever individual effort. 4 goals to Nathan Brown, a couple of Kane Pettifer, a couple of Matthew Richardson, and just 3 to Matthew Lappin as their main goal kicker. They are being killed everywhere. Here's Tambling wanting to get into the act, and young Danny Meyer just getting a sniff, as well as Campbell dumps Camporelli. He still means business. Tambling did well. Toe poked that time by Walker. Chance for the Tigers. Bowden just glides onto the ball, rockets the ball back to Chaffey, doing well across halfback. Richmond's defence has been absolutely sensational today. Here's a long handball. Coughlin is killing the Blues, and Campbell will be enjoying the afternoon in his last season of AFL football. Goes forward, taken away by Simpson. It was a clever handball, put Thornton under a lot of pressure. Hit a target. Stevens back to Teague, comes away from halfback, goes short to Prendergast. Some run comes from DeLuca through the centre square. Long bomb getting back his haul. Here's Longmuir. At least he made it a contest. Chance for Koutafidis at ground level. Does the shepherding, picked up by Waite. Wild kick off the side of the boot and out of bounds on the floor. And that sums up Carlton.
Whew. We saw the Blues cop some pastings last year, Tony. Every time they managed to bounce back the following week, they got Geelong at the Telstra Dome on Friday night.
There's a lot to do with referred pressure in football. When a side chases and tackles from the opening bell, that sometimes you think that they're on your hammer, and you pick the ball up and you just imagine that someone is going to be there. And that was the case of Jared Waite. Richardson, the juggler on the second grab, couldn't take it. Forced over the line that time is Chaffey. We've got a boundary throw in on centre wing.
That's exactly right, and I think just on the peripheral of a lot of contests today, Carlton players had their body over the ball, keeping their head down, but just worried about getting bumped or tackled, and the ball spilled out, and that's where Richmond have just ran away with it. They get Favola back next week. That will help them straighten up, you would think.
Just over 3 minutes left in this third term.
He's been all right. Kate Simpson, he's had a go. I think the coach, you know.
Well, he's had it 9 times, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's it's just the way he's gone about it. I think more
got a bit of pace. Got a bit of pace, Tony.
Left foot.
DeLuca pushing and shoving with Noble. Prendergast good enough to get the handball away. Simpson.
Well done.
Does well under pressure. Didn't quite hit a target. Taken away that time by Kane Johnson. Hammers the ball back to the half-forward line. Richardson is running amok. Gets the ball back to Pettifer. He's kicked 3 goals. Squeezes the ball along the boundary line. Just inside 50 for the Tigers. And we've got a boundary throw in.
Kate Simpson now up to his career best 10 possessions. There's Brett Johnson on the bench.
Andrew Walker.
Walker, there's something about Andrew Walker. They've got to find a position for him. How many years has he played league football? Would have been at least 3, wasn't it?
Just his second year.
20th
game today.
Well,
he's only 18 years of age, Tony. He was only 17.
I know, but I'd like to stabilise him in one spot and maybe on a wing and let him run for a month or so.
Here's Richo. Takes it out of mid-air, has a snap at goal, but sprays it wide. A little bit in the Brendan Goddard mould in that I think he's still growing into his body, Tony, in his body shape, and they haven't quite found a spot for him just quite yet.
That's right. So, yeah, the wing, I don't know if you call him wing in modern-day football because people play everywhere, but even a stay-at-home wing because he's got speed, you know, he's got agility. And even Goddard, like you said, needs to know how to play, play in a certain position. O'Halpin
back on the ground for the Blues, played just 23 minutes, so a chance for him to get some game time as well.
I'd keep him on for the whole game.
Thornton down the line to Scotland. Look at the pressure from the Tigers, still chasing hard. The margin's 91 points, but you wouldn't know it from that effort. Waite. Look away handball to Scotland. Off the left, inside 50. Going back with the flight is Prendergast, splits the pack open. Longmuir got a hand to it. Bowden,
Oh,
crunched
free
by
kick.
Teague, will get a free kick. And the Tigers will peel off
Had a great game.
to the
24th possession.
to the southern side again. Campbell. Again, they bring it inboard. Don't get caught going out wide. They attack up the corridor. Tuck. Ran into Prendergast. Gave it off. Coughlin in some space from 50. Lines it up. Goes for it. And almost gets it. Good effort from Wiggins. Right on the line.
Great signs for the Tigers with Coughlin in such devastating form, 31 possessions today. But just the way that he's running, Tony, it's not so much the possessions, because there's a lot of easy possessions out there. But you can see he's very free in his action.
Osteitis pubis last year.
And obviously, you know, took him right out of calculations. But he looks really sharp. He can run well. And we know he's a very, very good player. So he's a real bonus.
Shepherding free kick, Tony.
Oh, look, sometimes in football you have to use your body. You know someone's going to come over the back. And the umpire said that Lance Whitnell, from this kick in, look at that, it was just misread by Trent Noble punching the ball back. Plenty of time. Lance Whitnell just waiting for the contact. You know you're going to be a sitting duck because it's going to land on your head.
Here's Richardson taking a breather as Noble pumps the ball back to the goal square. Getting back this time is Teague. He's brave, running with the flight of the ball. Best and fairest winner from last year. Goes wide. And Prendergast drops a sitter. He doesn't know why. Maybe a lack of rosin. Still use rosin these days, Tony?
Rosin or resin?
Rosin.
Rosin.
I actually shook hands with Paddy Ganane about my first game. He congratulated me, and I tell you what, I was still shaking by the hand when we ran out on the ground. Couldn't get rid of it. Chance for Simpson. And he is doing well. He's just trying to find his feet in the game. Chaffee will be enjoying this milestone of 150. Meyer will be enjoying just his second game in Teague, this time playing in front of Pettifer.
Never used rosin, if you call it rosin, but never used it once.
I never used it myself. It used to be too sticky for me.
Well,
Tony.
skilled players don't need a KB.
That's
in
right.
The same category.
Waite goes wide, finds Heath Scotland from the centre of the ground. Measures the kick, going wide. That time he was looking for O'Halpin. Tony Shaw says just leave him on the ground. Eddie Betts. Chances have been pretty dry today. We've got a boundary throw-in.
Yep, leave St Andrew on and just let him say, you know, have a go now. You get about 40, 50 minutes of football. That'll be good for you in your first game. We need to get him a touch, though. We've got to try and get him something.
Well,
get him up the ground.
I reckon he did have a touch. I reckon he had a kick smothered.
Smothered off his boot before
came into the
wasn't counted
as a kick.
Wasn't counted as a kick.
Well, if it had gone through the goals, it would have been a kick.
I don't think it hit his foot. Three-quarter time at the MCG. And the Tigers extend their margin once again. They've booted 6 goals, 3 in that term. Carlton booted 4 goals straight. And at the final change, it's Richmond 19-11, 125. Carlton 5-3-33. Andrew Cracker with 5 goals for the Tigers, including 3 in that term. Nathan Brown's booted 4. Pettifer and Richardson with 2 apiece.
Touch yet. Let him get out there and have a go for the last 30 minutes.
Final term at the MCG. Anthony Koutafides heads down to full forward. Richmond by 92 points. Can they beat the Blues by a ton for the first time in their long and proud history? Looking at their 3rd home win in a row, KB, which is important for them to get back and have the MCG as a bit of an intimidating factor for them again.
Well, I think they're looking at more than winning. They're 85 points in front, and looking a bit of history as well, because 77 has been the biggest margin ever over Carlton until today. Here's a chance for Thornton. Richardson says, I want a free kick, and he's got it. So he's going to kick his 3rd goal, because surely on a day like today, even Matthew Richardson couldn't miss, Tony.
Okay. We just saw him drop a chest mark that normally, but no, look, that's the 3rd big long kick that's come into Matty Richardson and Thornton, and I think Brett Thornton was very lucky on one of those occasions anyway, but 3rd time lucky for Matty Richardson.
So Richardson to kick his 3rd goal, and this to put the Tigers 91 points up, straight through the centre.
Interesting then to see Wayne Campbell come across to Matthew Richardson.
Gives me the space to kick in that area.
He somehow manages to find that space in traffic too, doesn't he? It's like the rest of the traffic goes blurring past and he's standing still.
Sideways. He goes sideways.
Here's Stevens off the hands of the pack. Prendergast ran over the top of it. Free kick going to the Blues, and it's coming back to Ian Prendergast. Back into the side this afternoon, a late inclusion. He and Satander O'Halpin, 2 changes for Carazzo and Chambers for the Blues. The back of the contest, Gasper confronted by Lappin, spun through the tackle, advantage paid. Tuck links up with Gasper. Coming off the bench, in from the side was Walker. Forced a contest, got it to ground. Koutafidis and Walker spoiled each other. Pettifer the beneficiary. Kicks towards Simmons. Has got 10 metres on Whitnell from 50. Wants to get back on his favoured left boot and does. Chips it. But again, Simon Wiggins, full credit, didn't give up on the lead and cuts across to take the mark.
Finds Camporelli across half back. Casual bounce of the ball. Carries the ball to the wing. Now hammers it inside 50.
Look at this.
So no one in particular. Richmond have numbers back there as Newman just glides onto the ball. Rockets the ball wide to Delidio, who does love to run with the ball. It's a good attribute to have as a young man with fresh legs. Plenty of bounce, plenty of spring. Taken away by Campbell. One old-timer to a new head in Meyer. Again, Richardson trying to take with one hand with strength. Wrapped up in the tackle that time by Thornton. Pleading with the umpire for a free kick. Pleading. And finally gets it. Dry smile from Richardson, who glances up at the scoreboard.
KB, that style of play, those number of handballs coming through the middle of the ground. I said it before about Terry Wallace. That's the trademark. Just use each other up, run the lines. And they've had a powerful forward line to kick to on the end of it.
Whitnell. To centre wing. Koutafidis. Again, a lot of Carlton players kicking around their body today, Tony.
And I reckon non-preferred.
Yes, and I reckon that's one of the reasons why they've really struggled. Now it's touched right on the line. Another desperate save there by Gaspar. If you had a couple of times even with Heath Scotland on the non-preferred side, instead of maybe going down the line, trying to bring the ball back across their bodies, and the kicking today by Carlton has let them down.
That's not a bad kick by Richmond.
And Heath Scotland has got a chance to kick.
Well, normally, look, and I said that about Heath, he's made two mistakes. He normally kicks beautifully on both sides of the body. From a set shot, gee, I think he's one of the best in the competition. Maybe the distance, he's going to kick from 52 metres. That might be the telling factor here. But normally, very, very straight kicker goal.
Heath Scotland has just kicked the one goal for the season. Hasn't troubled the scorer today. From 52 metres, it's right on target, right to the line. And has kicked a goal. You're a good judge, Tony.
Well, you see a youngster who comes into your footy side and you coach him for a couple of years, you know their abilities, you would hope, and that's what he does well. But look, you're right, it's been he's had a couple of kicks around the goal, around the ground where he's messed up on his left foot. He does like to get onto his left foot to give himself space because he isn't quick. And as you know, left footers get a lot of space that side of the body. And he's a genuine right footer, but does move onto his left a lot in the game.
2012, 132 Richmond, Carlton 7-5, 47. Heath Scotland boots his second goal of season 2005. French got the tap. Again, Coughlin. A career-high 35 touches for Mark Coughlin. Now inside 50 to Richardson. A frustration from Brett Thornton. Kane Pettifer gets in his ear. Troy Simmons goes and pats him on the back and says, "That's all right, mate."
Oh, I'll tell you what, don't you like to see that in Brent Thornton? I know he's been beaten today, and this is the first time Richo's got him in 4 games, but he is filthy that he got outmarked, and that's what I'm saying about a leader of the future, just to show his teammates, I hate this happening to us and to me.
What about the Richmond players giving it to him? Here's Richardson. Right. Kicks goal number 4. He hates to be beaten in any contest at all, Brett Thornton. And here's Lance Whitnell. David Teague getting across with a couple of words of encouragement.
Well, they're probably saying, look, we don't want to do anything stupid now. You're getting frustrated, and we know you're a great competitor, and you don't like losing, but, you know, this game's gone. We've got to look to next week now. And you can just see, look at that. Oh, gee, I hate being out here when it's happening like this. And that's what makes good footballers, that makes footballers good footballers and good leaders.
23 goals for the season to Matthew Richardson. He's booted 4 to Nathan Brown, also 23 for the season. Andrew Cracker has kicked 5 goals today, 3 of those coming in a stellar third term. That man on screen kicked his 600th goal today in AFL football when he kicked that first goal in the first term. 2 goals coming in that first term, 1 in the second, and 1 in the two in the final quarter for Matthew Richardson. So the Tigers have really just been playing with Carlton. Since that first quarter, when they opened up a 44-point lead, they led by 77 points at half-time, 92 points at three-quarter time. Here's Brown out in front of Wiggins. And again, just marking in front. Richmond's kicking today has been superb. Players running onto the ball.
Just wonder about some of the matchups, Carlton. You know, we've said earlier about Wiggins. He's not at the calibre of Nathan Brown. Nathan Brown. So he's been there all day and he's tried hard, but gee, just class tells in the end. Maybe they had to give it to a senior player like Teague.
Tigers by 91 points, and Brown this time has pushed it to the right and through for behind. 4 goals, 3 to Nathan Brown. Coghlan with 35 possessions, Bowden with 29, 21 to Campbell, Johnson with 20, Tivendale 19 and Tuck 19 to Newman as well. Ray Hall also 18.
Fair return from your midfield there, KB.
Pack of players this time. French got his hands on the ball. Deledio working hard in close. Coghlan make that possession, number 36. Back to Johnson and Pettifer. It was a brave mark, just running with the flight. And Campbell will take the short kick.
Should have a shot.
It's a tough angle, but he's shooting from 45 metres.
It's a beautiful kick for goal. Just take your time.
They got the team rule as well, Tony. No playing on inside 50.
No, not for. I think it's only for Matty Richardson just to settle him down, because they know he can always kick the distance. It's just about accuracy. The thing about Matty Richardson, he's a chance of getting 10 shots at goal, and if he messes up 4 of them, he might only kick 3. But if he takes his time, he could kick 6 every game.
Game number 282 today for Wayne Campbell. He's been at 3 goals for the season. He started on the bench.
It's a beautiful kick.
And Wayne Campbell has hammered it home.
Well,
his first goal.
He plays a role now, Kevin, which happens to everybody later in their career. He plays a lot off the bench. You know he's still a very smart player. Well, whether it's an impact player, I don't think he's got the athletic ability to be an impact player, but
a compact player.
A compact player. Someone knows how to play the game, is very smart and can finish like that. But yeah, coming to the end of his career, been a great servant of this club. I don't know whether he'd be a chance of playing 300 games. Would that be right?
No, he's up to 265.
Oh, 265, was it? Sorry, I thought you said 280.
52,234. Good crowd in for a disappointing contest. Great result if you're a Richmond fan. Up to 98 points. Can they beat the Blues by 100 points for the first time ever?
Do they count them before half-time?
No, he's played 282 games, Wayne Campbell.
282?
282.
Johnson in over the top. Camporelli in there as well. 8 minutes remaining. 98 points the margin. That's what's got the crowd buzzing. There's Brendan Favola watching on. He'll return next week. The Carlton side to play Geelong Friday night at the Telstra Dome.
I think his picture just went up on the big screen and everybody's booing him from the Carlton side point of view. They know that he's let the club down.
Graham got the tap to Campbell. Going back with the flight is Spawn. Takes the mark on his chest. Quiet day for Trent Spawn. Just his 4th touch. Played just 36 minutes. Now to Stevens. Stevens up to 29 possessions. Goes towards Koutafidis. Floating over the top was Tambling. Scotland back to Kouta. Here's Camporelli. Through traffic to Koutafidis. Inside 50. Lappin gets on the end of it. He's booted 4. (16 possessions, 5 marks for Matthew Lappin.
Gee, if he kicks this, he's going to kick 5 out of 8. So you thought, what a very good return. I'm pretty sure he started in defence early in the game.
He struggled early, didn't he, Lappin?
Yeah, and then they put him up here. He's been a target.
His best is 6 goals in a game. Awkward looking kick off the boot. It's done enough. Lappin's got 5. 1 in the second, 2 in the third, now 2 in the final term. The margin back to 92 points as we tick over 19 minutes in the final term.
Well, he's a good player, Matty Lappin, isn't he? Again, a very smart footballer, not super quick, but plays both ends. Doesn't play in the middle of the ground as much as I'd like because he's so creative. I just wonder how he runs, whether he's got the stamina to do it. But you know he's got the smarts to outbody a player bigger than him in the back line, and then forward, he just knows where to lead to, and he's a good mark for his size.
Can't beat players who can kick goals, Tony. Very, very important. Tigers next week play Collingwood. This win today is Richmond's 999th win. So next week, if they can beat Collingwood, it will certainly be a milestone, their 1,000th win in AFL football. Here's Tivendale, goes short. He can raffle it. Gives it to the skipper, Kane Johnson. Rockets the ball to Campbell. Captain to ex-captain. Brings up a goal.
That was a training run.
2 goals to Wayne Campbell. And wouldn't that be some win for the Tigers over Collingwood, Tony? Their 1,000th win since coming to the competition in 1908. How would that be?
You're jumping the gun a bit, aren't you?
Well, I want you to support your mighty Pies.
Oh, we're looking forward to it. We've only played, we play Fremantle tomorrow in Perth and then have to travel back. So we're looking forward to that, KB. But, gee, the juggernaut, don't the Richmond, they jump on board. They jump on board. They've been through a couple of hard years, and good luck to them, because they're a great club when they've got their supporters up and running, and they're pretty quick to drop off, as you know.
Gee, I was able to reel in Tony Shaw very easily.
I think you might have him on the hook, KB.
Got him on the hook.
It's been 25 years since their last flag, and just good for football to have 52,000 in again today, watching Richmond and Carlton.
1990. Did you play in that, Tony?
Yeah, I saw it. I did, I think.
Teagan over the top of it. Have another bounce. Just over 6 minutes remaining.
Long time between drinks, KB. But look, it is great. I think it's fantastic. Terry Wallace, well, he's a superstar coach now, isn't he?
Kudafides to Camporelli. Tumbles it inside 50.
Think they should re-sign him?
Re-sign him for another 5. He'll coach till 2015.
Newman to Campbell. Over the top.
Got to re-sign him, don't they?
Kellaway.
Extend his contract.
Coughlin to half forward. Now Richardson on Whitnell. At least for that contest, as Spawn to Camporelli. Across the body, has to stand and wait. Does Kuda, and takes the mark at defensive 50.
The old head Stevens, Camporelli and Kuda, they've worked hard, haven't they?
Yeah, they do. I still worry about a number of their senior players getting cheap stats around the back. Running around the back.
Well, that could be a point, Tony. That could be a point. I suppose going forward. Today they were so stagnant, weren't they, early in the game? And maybe even stagnant now. Not much has improved for Carlton since the first quarter.
Well, they're forced backwards, but they do it a lot in games. I like to see those midfielders be the one who link up through the centre, that they're either having shots on goal through 50 or setting up shots on goal.
I think you can throw the stats book out on this one today.
Yep.
Numbers pretty meaningless other than that one on the bottom of the screen, the scoreboard. Kellaway inside 50. Thornton with courage. Great mark. Now to Scotland. Got a man forward to the football. It's Camporelli. He pokes it down the line towards Longmuir, and he marks on his chest on centre wing. Back to Camporelli. In fact, it's Simpson rather. Now to Camporelli. To 60. Lappin on the end of it again, looking for goal number 6. Graham to clear for the Tigers. This game's almost stopped to a walk.
Well, that man who had the ball too, Darren Gaspar, he's been one of the best on ground by far.
And Longmuir this time finds the target in Houlihan. Outside of 50, so he kicks a long bomb. He's looking for O'Halpin. And the young man that Tony Shaw wanted on the ground in the last half has finally taken a grab. This is his first kick, according to the stats. We thought he had one early in the game, which was half smothered off the boot. Maybe it didn't travel off the boot to be registered as a stat. So let's put it down to this man's first kick in AFL football after taking that mark.
He becomes the 361st player to kick a goal with their first kick in AFL football.
How many of those have been Irish?
None.
He's the first.
I only made that up because I've got no idea.
He's the first one.
Let's hope he kicks
come from
it.
the background of hurling. Be a lovely moment for this young man.
Well done.
And he has kicked a goal. Well done. There's a big moment to Tanner O'Halpin.
I'll send that back to Ireland.
With his first kick in AFL football, albeit very late in the game. Hasn't quite brought a smile to the face of Dennis Pagan. But at this stage, he's not worried about that. He's thinking about next week and how he can get the Blues up. But for that young man, that will be shown on TV back in Ireland, no doubt.
Oh, they'll send the tape straight over there. That'll be on the news, I think, on the news highlights. But I want to see Dennis Pagan again. Can we just... It'll be fantastic. We get a replay of just so excited for the youngster. You know?
It'll be a 30-second grab from the game, and they'll just sort of gloss over the score at the end of it. Great moment for Sir Tanner O'Halpin. It's been a great journey for him.
That was great.
He's on the board. First kick, first goal in league football.
There it is. He was excited. Oh, here it is. Here it is. He's so excited for Satana. He showed a bit of emotion.
I bet you after the game he'll go up to him and say, well done.
Well done.
92 points the margin once again. Are the Blues out of the woods to avoid a 100-point belting? Stevens wrapped up.
Well, Satana, Glenn Mountain said, thought he was going to be told he was delisted during the week, wasn't it? And then told he was getting a game. One of his sees Dennis come up to him, he's thinking, uh-oh, back to the seconds. Don't worry about congratulating him on his first goal in AFL football.
Stevens pulled up short after that kick. Longmuir. Handball to Camporelli. Now Simpson. For his second goal in league football. Hits the post. So he gets his first poster in league football, Tony. So it's a day of milestones.
He's been okay. He has been at one bonus, and there's Nick Stevens limping. Gee.
So the story was, O'Halpin thought he was going to be delisted, Tony.
Well, Glenn Manton, I think.
Yeah, called him in for a coffee, and Satana wasn't sure what the conversation was going to be about.
Delisted.
Here's Joel Bowden with a free kick.
I don't know whether Glenn wants to verify that, because I thought that was quite surprising.
Let's go down to Glenn Mountain. Is that true, Glenn?
KB, the story that was relayed to me was that Santana was a little bit unsure why he was going to lunch with Dennis Pagan and felt that it may be some bad news. It may be a negative lunch, which Dennis has been known to have. I'm sure if he buys you the bowl of pasta and then asks you to tell you life story in front of him over lunch, that means see you later. But unfortunately, this wasn't the case, or I should say fortunately it wasn't the case, and he gets his first game here today.
You wouldn't want to be having lunch with Dennis this week, would you? He'd be just saying, sorry, Dennis, the diary's a bit full this week.
What do you get this voicemail on your phone? It's Dennis Pagan here. I want you to take her out to lunch. It's a free one. Can you say, no, I think I've got something else on.
Well, Longmuir is marked directly in front.
Things get worse for Carlton here today with Nick Stevens leaving the ground with an ankle injury.
Well, he's battled hard. He's had it 30 times. And Longmuir, I think he may have just squeezed it in.
It's 5-4 in the last quarter, so they could outscore the Tigers here. I don't think Terry Wallace would be too unhappy with that. Would have loved to win each quarter, I would believe, but they haven't thrown it in. It was Walker centred the ball, and Longmuir, he needs to do a lot more. I think for a player who was recruited from another club, just needs a lot more input from Longmuir for the Carlton Football Club. 7 possessions, 2 marks and a goal today for Troy Longmuir. Margin 85 points inside 2 minutes in the final term. Johnson inside 50 again. Houlihan tried to work his man under at Newman. Well done. Waite crashed through. Hall, good hands. Campbell, advantage paid. Gasper towards half forward for the Tigers. Whitnell will cut this one off.
Newman's been very good in defence for the Tigers. He did well in that contest.
The Blues switch to the southern side of the ground and find Camporelli. 32nd touch for him. French in the middle of the ground. Plenty of players in front of him. A lot of numbers inside the Carlton forward line. O'Halpin goes at it again. Couldn't quite bring it down. Johnson farmed it out to Bannister. Went backward towards Houlihan. Here's O'Halpin. Nudged under it. Umpire called play on. They pounce in on top. We'll have a bounce.
So Camporelli, Stevens, 32 possessions and 30 possessions respectively. Heath Scotland 25, Kutafides 24. Normally when that happens, you would think Carlton would win the game, having those numbers. But because the game's open up after half-time, it's been pretty attacking by Richmond.
Santana and O'Halpin becoming the 7th player to play AFL football via the Irish system. 6 of them Irish, and Sean White actually Scottish, but came via the Irish system. Kellaway fists it outside 50. Here's Newman again. Has been impressive. Continues to develop in the Richmond back half. Kellaway. Tuck. Newman. They share it around. 10 seconds remaining. Towards half forward. Whitnell the double fist. Simpson can't quite get there. And the clock will stop with 3 seconds remaining.
Well, it's been comprehensive, it's been professional, and just look to Richmond now and think, how far can they go this year? 4 wins last season, 5 to this stage of the year, so it's just been a magnificent turnaround by the club.
They set themselves for this game this afternoon. Richmond entered the competition in 1908. They've had some magnificent battles with the Blues over the years. They've been great rivals, but they have never beaten the Blues by as much as they have today. 23-13, 151. Carlton 10-6, 66. The final margin 85 points, eclipsing the previous record of 77, which was set back in round 1 of 1978. It was a golden afternoon for the Tigers as they returned to the blockbuster stage at the MCG in front of a big crowd, more than 52,000, and they turned it on. Cracker finished with 5 goals. Richardson booted 4. Brown booted 4 as well. It was a dominant performance all over the ground for the Tigers. Campbell bobbed up with 2 goals in the final term. Singles to Deledio, Simmons, Stafford, Johnson, Tivendale and Callaway. Throw 2 goals in for Pettifer as well, and that's their 23. For the Blues, well, Matthew Lappin booted 5. The rest all singles. French, O'Halpin, Longmuir, Scotland and Waite. Richmond 23-13, 151. Big winners over Carlton, 10-6, 66. One of the great songs in football, and to hear it belted out at the MCG after a big Richmond win puts shivers up the spine, I'm sure, of any Richmond fan. We head down to Glenn Manton, who's on the ground.
Andy, a hell of a game, mate. 5 goals and a great result.
Oh, no, it was a great result. I've been a bit quiet in the last few games, so Terry put it to me, gave me a challenge this week, and I sort of stepped up to it.
You rightly did, and Brett, you've got a football in your hand there, mate. We talk about the game being great for the team, but it's great for membership, great for your supporters too.
Oh yeah, definitely. To have a win like that, it's definitely doing something for the supporters, so it's good to give a bit back.
Now, mate, do you know how to run 15 metres, or do you only know how to run 40, 50, 60 metres? You seem to run a long way when you get the ball. Is that part of your development? Terry's pushing that?
Yeah, he's encouraging me to run, but I just forgot to bounce it, so I'll have to work on that during the week. So
we'll allow you to bounce those balls over the supporters, and well done to both of you today. Terrific games. Well done.
It's a great initiative. After a win, the Tigers sign a football each, head off to all parts of the ground and give them to the kids. An experience I'm sure Richmond youngsters will never forget, and today a golden experience for the Richmond fans. It's been 25 years, as we mentioned, KB. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. It's a long way to go for Richmond, but just to come to a big stage like this today, 2 sides that have got similar ambitions, trying to scrape their way back up into the top 8, and for Richmond to come out and play the way they did, particularly in the first 15, 20 minutes, just set the scene, never gave Carlton a chance. Very promising signs.
Well, they look a very good side today, the Tigers. I know that Geelong and St Kilda, 2 of the best teams in the competition, have beaten the Tigers, but I think Richmond are improving, Tony. I think that there's a growing confidence. You've got to remember that they came off losing 14 games on the trot last year. It's a fair base to come from in terms of confidence and, you know, believing in yourself once again. And there's Jerry Wallace just congratulating Andrew Cracker on his 5 goals. They've got a good system up forward with the torch. We've mentioned that. Coughlin back to some outstanding formula. He had 38 possessions, but mainly just the fact that we can see that he's up and running again, which is great for the Tigers.
Richmond players head down into the rooms to sing the song. We will bring you that song plus the post-match wrap right after this. It's Richmond 23-13, 151. Victorious over Carlton, 10-6, 66.